It took me a whole day to control my new profound strength. The level 3 rank is something. I feel an overwhelming power inside my mana core. I decided to register my name as an inner house member tomorrow. The following day, 10 a.m. After walking out of the dorm, I immediately walked toward the academy. People were coming and going inside the academy. The morning looks as usual. My appearance didn't catch much attention. Seeing that, I quickly entered the hall. I head directly towards the sub-taboo hall. I don't know how the older sister will react. Shaking my head, I quickened my pace. After a few minutes, I appeared in front of the sub-taboo hall. I opened my holographic ID for verification. Soon the ray shot from the door system and my ID was scanned. Creak! The door opened and I walked into the room the next second. I looked around and there was no one there. Seeing that, I immediately texted my senior. Then I leisurely sat on the sofa. After a few minutes, Carolina Slade arrived. Her eyes immediately fell on junior brother. For a moment, Carolina felt dazed and she stood in the same spot for a moment. What happened? She said in her heart, looking at Vincent. She feels Vincent is different today. Suddenly she realizes something and tries to probe Vincent's rank. But she can't find anything and there is a layer blocking her senses. Magic cloak. She mumbled under her breath. Vincent, did you break through? She blurted out in surprise. Looking at her, I smiled amusingly. She is quick to catch on. Then nodding my head, I got up from the seat. I'm a level 3 wizard right now, I said with a smile. Good, Carolina uttered in surprise. A look of understanding dawned upon her. It's been several weeks and it's normal for Vincent to get a breakthrough. Well, your breakthrough came in time. Now you can do missions assigned to our hall, Carolina said. I raised my eyebrows in surprise. Before I could ask anything, the senior continued to say, I know your doubts. Apart from the mission hall, each hall has its missions also. For example, certain missions in the academy can be done by only the mechanical hall. Likewise, our sub-taboo also has a special task to fulfill, she added further. Hearing that, I gained some clarity. No wonder I have yet to see the faces of the medical hall's members. They must be doing their missions. Carolina then walked towards her desk to register her junior brother's name in the inner house registry. The registration process is similar to the outer house registry. Soon the information in the database is changed. Vincent's name now moved to the inner house database. After doing that, she looked at Vincent. All right, your name is registered. You're officially 5th inner house member now, Carolina said. Hearing that, I realized. Apart from her, there are 3 other inner house members in our hall. But I have yet to meet them. But I have a vague feeling that I'm going to meet them soon. Do you want to take a look at the task? Carolina asked. I nodded my head and looked at the big screen in front of her. Carolina quickly used her fingers to tap the screen. The next second the mission information popped up. All of them were missions issued by the mission hall. She swiped the screen and accessed the page of Sub-Taboo Hall. Soon various missions were issued under the Sub-Taboo Hall name. She then asked her junior brother to look at the list. I nodded my head and then my gaze swept past the list. 1. Go to the abandoned battlefield and collect the evil magic flowers. Nose, 100. Task issued by Medical Hall. 2. Go to the Dragon City's Escort Bureau as a supporting image. Task issued by City Lord of the Dragon City. 3. Go to the Lost Era Ruin to explore as a team member. Task issued by Taboo Hall. 4. Killing task. Kill 3 wanted level 4 evil wizards within a year. Task issued by Yellow River Academy. 5. Concoct mental power potions for level 4 wizards. Task issued by Sub-Taboo Hall. Looking at the information, my expression condensed a little. None of the tasks looked that easy. But the next second, a frown appeared on my face. There were only 5 missions on the list. Carolina saw through her junior brother's thoughts. She asked, are you surprised that there were 5 tasks issued here? Hearing that, I nodded my head. Carolina let out a small sigh before saying, these tasks are for our inner house members. Seniors have their tasks. And don't forget that these 5 tasks were specially assigned to our Sub-Taboo Hall. With you, we have only 5 members. Soon there will be 1 more task, which is enough for our Sub-Taboo inner house members to complete, she added further. A look of understanding dawned upon me. I almost forgot that these tasks were assigned to our Sub-Taboo Hall. Then shaking my head, I looked at the task again. Seeing that Vincent is looking at the task again, Carolina remembered something. Senior Gilbert advised Vincent not to go outside before becoming an inner house member. Now that Vincent has become a level 3 wizard, It's natural for him to pick up the mission. How fast? She sighed inwardly. At the same time, I'm considering which task to apply. The first one is to collect the evil flower. But I'm not fully aware of the ancient battlefield. That little bit of knowledge that I have comes from the library. I wrinkled my eyebrows. Because there is no reward mentioned here. I asked a sister, what about the rewards? Carolina replied, Junior brother, the rewards were given after your performance assessment. And the rewards were random. Sometimes it's mana stones and battle tower points. And some other times the rewards were given as relics, she added further. So that's how it is? I muttered to myself. To be honest, more than battle tower points. I need mana stones. Especially the mid-grade mana stones. Then I looked at the second task, which I believe is to assist the local escort bureau. A quick glint flashed in my eyes. The task looks simple without much information. But I believe it's not that easy. Why do they need assistance? Then shaking my head, I read the next one. Go to the Lost Era ruin? I muttered to myself. This is a bit similar to the ancient battlefield. But it's a team task and the task is issued by the Taboo Hall. This task looks interesting. But unfortunately, I don't want to come in contact with Taboo Hall members. Then I read the fourth and fifth tasks again. The killing task is too early for me. For my first task, I want to pick a relatively safer one. And the fifth task is impossible for me to complete. It can only be done by people who are experts in potion making. Have you made up your mind? Carolina asked. Hearing that, I nodded and said, I'm going to the ancient battlefield. Carolina furrowed her beautiful eyebrows. She replied, the evil magic flowers are not easy to find. You have to go deeper into that ruins to look for it. But don't worry. If you want to go, then I have this map here, which could be helpful to you. After saying that, she transferred the map to Vincent's contact. Beep. I received a digital map of the ancient battlefield from her. I opened this digital map to view it. Seeing that information was marked in detail, I sighed in relief. Then I applied for the task under my name. Now no one can access the task except me. Then after talking with her, I left the hall and walked towards the dorm. A few minutes later, after arriving in my room, I decided to leave right away. It's better to go out for the mission before the news about my breakthrough spreads like wildfire. Suddenly, I stopped my movements and decided to look at the status again. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 1%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color, pale orange. Strength, 253. Speed, 253. Stamina, 253. Vitality, 253. Intelligence, LVL.328. Soul power, LVL.328. Mental power, LVL.328. Constitution, LVL.3, 28. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 2%. Spell models, 4. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. Slots available, 5. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, magic cloak, the Gregor Mansion, magic artifact, herbs, potions and spell books, etc. My status looked alright. Fortunately, there was no assessment required to gauge my exact strength. So people would think I'm getting started in level 3 rank. After getting ready, I immediately left the dorm and walked toward the transport area, where we can use any type of transport vehicle for travel. I reached the transport facility of the academy a few minutes later, which is located near the academy's entrance. Soon, I walked into the area, which is an open space. I see many flying artifacts and flying cars standing in line. All of them were an invention by mechanical wizards. Then my gaze turned towards the opposite side, where I see many beast carriages. No doubt these tamed flying beasts were used for transport purposes. A quick glint flashed in my eyes. There were many types of the beast, but these beasts were different species than monsters. Most of the beasts were lower in strength and couldn't evolve. But monsters were different. As long as the monsters have a bloodline, they can evolve from first-order monsters to second-order monsters and high above. After glancing at them one more time, I decided not to waste any more time. I hurried towards one of the beast's carriages. The flying beast looks different. It has a very long elongated neck and a small beak. Feeling my glance, the bird-type flying beast looked at me. But due to my higher rank, the beast timidly moved its head away. Seeing that, I chuckled and moved closer to the carriage. The beast has brown scaly skin with 4 shaped claws. When I walked up to the door, an old man appeared right beside me all of a sudden. Seeing that, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. Level 4, I mumbled under my breath. The surprised glint appeared in my eyes for a moment before it disappeared. Hello? Sir, where do you want to go? The old man asked. I observed the old man for a moment. He is dressed in an old-fashioned tuxedo. He looked more like a family steward than a driver. But I don't want to comment on him. Then slightly nodding my head, I replied, I want to go to the ancient battlefield. The old man's eyes filled with surprise. There are many ancient sites. But he didn't quite understand which one that young mage is referring to. At the same time, I saw through his thoughts. I'm slightly embarrassed before saying, ahem, old man. It's site number 946. The old man nodded in understanding. But he was not surprised. That site is an abandoned battlefield. Apart from collecting resources, the ancient battlefield site doesn't have any other use. Sir, can we leave now? After some seconds, the old man asked. I nodded my head before opening the door to enter inside. Inside, there were only 2 cushioned seats. Enough for 2 people to sit comfortably. I sat in a leisurely manner close to the glass window. Meanwhile, after closing the door, the old man started to drive. The flying beast rose from the ground and started to move in midair. Swish! When the beast flew out of the academy space, the speed of the monster drastically increased. The monster crossed a mile within a few minutes. Inside the cabin, I heard the air braking sound very clearly. A surprise glinted in my eyes. The beast's capability is higher than I thought. No wonder it's used for driving a flying carriage. With this speed, I believe we will reach the destination within a few hours. Then shaking my head, I decided to take some rest. I shut my eyes and wait for the flying carriages to reach the destination. Time passed in a blink of an eye. The flying carriage crossed several miles to reach the border area of the Dragon City. Only after I opened my eyes to look down through the window, I see the contrasting changes in the environment and landscapes. There is no greener area or mountains. The border looks desolate and barren. Sir, we are still a few miles away from the ancient battlefield. At this time, the old man's voice reached my ears. Hearing that, I furrowed my eyebrows even deeper. I thought we had reached the spot. But to think that the real destination is miles ahead, my expression couldn't help but turn solemn. This time the experience is going to be different from the wilderness. I smell the aura of desolation from here. Swish! Swish! Suddenly I hear the sound of similar carriages flying in the air towards the destination. Hearing that, I looked toward the direction where the sound came from. From a distance, 2 or more carriages were going in the same direction as me. Seeing that, a look of understanding dawned upon me. It seems I'm not alone, I muttered to myself. But the words heard, the old man replied, Sir, you have to stay careful. Those wizards from royal halls were quite treacherous. Hearing that, I looked again at those carriages. I also noticed one thing. Their carriages were layered with golden patterns, which is the symbol of Royal Force Hall. Then I retracted my gaze and assured the old man that I would be fine. Several minutes later, the flying carriage slowed down its speed at one spot. When the flying beast landed on the ground, I opened the door to walk out. After stepping down, I looked around the environment around me. The ground looked red like it has been stained with blood ever since the end of the old era battles. Even the smell of desolate attacked my nostril. I have to say this place is daunting. Suddenly, the flying beast let out a disgruntled noise, like it wants to get away from this place as soon as possible. Seeing that, the old man decided to leave. Before leaving, he gave me his contact number, so that I can contact him after the mission is done. Swish! After letting out joyful noise, the flying beast pulled the carriage away from this place. Seeing the disappearing back of the carriage, I finally decided to concentrate on the mission. I accessed the digital map the next second. My eyes swept past the marked areas. Right now, I'm standing on the outskirts of the ancient battlefield. So I picked the nearest marked areas to start my search. Towards my east, there are abandoned ruins of old era buildings. It's one of the places where the aftermath of battle swept away nearby buildings. The next second, I disappeared from the spot and rushed toward the destination. On the way, I found a lot of debris, but I sensed no danger. So I quickened my pace. Swish! After crossing a few distances, I'm slowly moving toward the deeper area. But suddenly, I found a malicious gaze fell on me. Gravity failed, I uttered. The next second, a tremendous gravitational force appeared. The area surrounding me comes under immense gravity pressure. PFFF. A 100-feet-long centipede monster suffered under gravitational force. Finally, when I turned around, I see the complete body of a centipede monster. Click! Under the huge gravitational force, the monster was torn into pieces, and its body parts were splattered around the ground. A quick glint flashes in my eyes, because I missed the crystal gem again. I don't know whether the monster hiding here is any different from other places, so I decided to collect crystal gems if I came across some other monsters. Time passed. After half an hour, the area came into my view. Seeing that there are ruins ahead, I hurried my pace toward the destination. Swish! Before I could realize it, something brushed past my face. It feels like some kind of attack. The next second, I leaped backward and landed on the ground, feeling pain in my face. Injury, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. I decided to check the system. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 1%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power 700. Mana capacity 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 253. Speed, 253. Stamina, 253. Vitality, 243-10. Intelligence, LVL.328. Soul power, LVL.328. Mental power, LVL.328. Constitution LVL.3, 28. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 2%. Spell models 4. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. Slots available 5. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions and Spellbooks, etc. The status panel appeared in front of my eyes. My gaze immediately fell on vitality points. -10, I uttered in disbelief. I suffered an injury after a long time. After closing the status panel, I carefully looked at the piece of a broken knife in front of me. No doubt, this broken knife just now injured me. But how? The knife appeared to be an ancient weapon. The handle is perfectly fine. Even the spine and cutting edge are sharp. The only problem with the knife is that the tip of the knife is missing, which makes it a broken knife. But what attracts me most is that the knife looks like a magic artifact. There is a trace of mental power left in it. Otherwise, a broken knife can't have that kind of repulsive reaction. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. The broken knife is a perfect weapon for killing. The spell casting requires mana consumption. To kill miscellaneous fishes, I can use this broken knife. After gaining some clarity, I have made up my mind to subdue this weapon. For that, I need to either control or erase whatever consciousness is left in it. Gravity field, I uttered. A terrific gravitational force was applied to the broken knife. The broken knife starts to vibrate in midair. Seeing that, I decided to increase the pressure a bit. But I'm careful not to overdo it. After a couple of seconds, the knife stopped vibrating and fell to the ground. I canceled my spell and walked over to pick it up. I held a broken knife in my right hand and carefully observed it again. The broken knife is completely pitch black. Even the handle has a small black concentric design all over it. Swish! Suddenly, I hear the sound of movement. Hearing that, I carefully placed the broken knife in the system space. When I looked around, there was no sign of monsters or wizards. But I have a vague feeling that it might be other magic artifacts. This place is a treasure trove. Who knows what else is hiding in this ancient ruin? Shaking my head, I disappeared from the spot and resumed my journey. Several minutes later, I reach the spot. Before me, several broken structures can be seen. Seeing that, I stopped my movements and carefully searched the surroundings. I don't know whether any evil magic flower can be found in this place. Crack? Then I took a step forward to enter further. My eyes scanned several broken structures. Time passed. After searching the nook and corner of the broken structures, I returned to the previous spot. Standing, I once again opened the digital map to view it. The first marked area turned out to be a disappointment. But I remember the senior's words. I have to go deeper into the ruins to find the evil magic flowers. So it is normal for the outskirts area to be hollowed out of resources. My gaze then fell on the next marked area. This one is located deeper into the ruins. I have to cross the extra mile to reach there. This marked area also comes under the core part of the ruins. After taking a few glances, I closed the map and resumed my journey. While moving, I'm also looking out for the activities of the monster. On the way, I come across harsh landscapes. There are no signs or green patches anywhere. Hard rocks, sandpaths, rundown structures, and vast open battlefield areas. After crossing half a mile, I stopped my movements. There is a giant snake monster lying down on the narrow path. Hiss. System, probe the monster in front of me, I said to the system. Ding. The host's voice is recognized. Ding. A command is initiated. %. Status panel. Name, dotted red snake. Level 4th order. Strength, 336. Vitality, 332. Speed, 335. Stamina, 336. Skill, snake bite. A status panel appeared in front of my eyes. 4th order or quick glint flashed in my eyes. It is very rare to come across 4th order monsters back home. But here they can be randomly found. Seeing that the monster is sleeping, I decided not to disturb it unnecessarily. I changed my route and followed a different path. Several minutes later, a different landscape came into view. Seeing the steep rocks ahead, I furrowed my eyebrows. It's my fault to consider the land to be even. A ruined site is a ruined site. Most of the landscapes appeared to be normal. But I know that these landscapes were destroyed by brutal battles in the past. It's normal for wizards to face some hurdles here. Swish! Suddenly, I heard the sound of footsteps. What again? While mumbling, I looked around carefully. Soon, I spotted a silhouette ahead. He seems to be a wizard like me. I stopped my movements and decided to probe him. I need to know his details. System, probe the target's details, I told the system. Ding! The host's voice is recognized. Ding, the command is 100% executed. Status panel. Target's name, Mike Run. Magic ability, Evil Gaze. Mage level, level 4 limiter. Talent, middle double. Color, distinct green. Strength, 321. Speed, 323. Stamina, 324. Vitality, 322. Intelligence, 34, LVL 4. Soul Strength, 31, LVL 4. Constitution 35, LVL 4. Mental Power, 32, LVL 4. Core Status, 70%. Spells, 2. 1. The Evil Stare 2. The Evil Spirit Clone Mental Method. Evil Eye Art Method, Earth Grade. Target status panel appeared in front of my eyes. My gaze immediately swept past the details. After a few seconds, a cold glint burst out from my eyes. Evil Wizard? Everything about the person is evil, including the magic he had awakened. Evil Gaze? What type of magic is it? My expression became a little strange. Given that the person's awakened magic is evil, it's normal for the person to be part of some evil faction. But I don't know which one it is. Dark League? My eyes flickered with a cold glint. If it's a Dark League, then I can't let him go just like that. It's not that I'm purging evil, which doesn't suit my character at all. I'm just going to eliminate one of the pawns of my enemy. Ever since I knew the Dark League is targeting the C candidates, especially since they had set a high priority to take my life. Even to such a length they had dispatched a level 6 wizard to get my head. I had already marked the Dark League organization as an enemy in my heart. So if this person is from the Dark League, then I have to get rid of him. After figuring it out, I temporarily postponed the mission and decided to follow him. When I got closer, I saw him. The person appeared to be old, like an old man in his 60s. I wasn't surprised by his age. Because of his talent, it's already great for him to reach level 4. So due to old age and limited talent, it will be impossible for this person to reach level 5 in this life. Meanwhile, the old man Mike slowly moved forward at a snail's pace. Considering his magic rank, his current behavior might cause some doubts. But he is clear with his mission. Where is the evil eye pendant? The old man muttered to himself. He has been searching for the evil object for many years. But every time, he would return empty-handed after a particular search mission. Even today, his organization sent him here to search for this evil pendant again. The search mission is a long-planned one, and it's a very time-consuming process. So to handle this, the organization has arranged several old wizards for the search mission. For a moment, the old man felt a bad taste in his mouth. All the young and energetic wizards were doing some other mission. The rest of the old and injured wizards were left to deal with this kind of stuff. He feels dejected in his heart. But after some seconds, he calmed down his nerves. Even so, there are hardships to deal with here on this ancient battlefield. But there is the possibility to come across chances. There is no hope for a level 5 rank in this lifetime. But if he gets a chance, then everything can be changed. His old dim eyes shone with a bright light the next moment. After feeling some hope in his heart, he focused his mind on the search again. Yellow River Academy. The news about Vincent's breakthrough set off storms in the Outer House wizards' hearts. How long has it been? Some average wizards are completely baffled by the news. It is not like Vincent is the only one who entered the Inner House. Other wizards also had a breakthrough. But Vincent is the wizard from Sub-Taboo Hall. Not long ago, Lara White broke through. She is from Taboo Hall. So these two people's performances were very eye-catching. Similarly, hearing this breaking news, pressure starts to mount on the special class students. Vincent's breakthrough came as a surprise. The Inner House is different from the Outer House. The Inner House is the real part of the academy. The new and young wizards have to go through another round of screening to become part of the academy, which is to shred the identity as the Outer House wizards. Yellow River Academy. Is it a breakthrough? Lara White muttered to herself. Vincent's breakthrough surprised her as well. She once again assumed that Vincent might have consumed many resources. She doesn't believe Vincent broke through because of talent. Lara immediately thought about Battle Tower. She feels Vincent will break her records again in the coming days. As this thought rose in her heart, she decided to challenge him later. Meanwhile, strange, Kate Cohen said to herself. Just a week before, she is convincing her student that it is difficult for Vincent to get a breakthrough with his mediocre talent. But now she revealed a wry smile on her face. Even the speed of the breakthrough is not comparable to her student. But she feels there are some lies in Vincent's information, especially the information about personal qualifications. She feels it must be fabricated. Otherwise, it's impossible to explain the current situation. She wants to confront someone about the unexplainable situation. When thinking about John Myers, she sighed to herself. After some seconds, she let go of the troubles in her heart. Anyway, this matter is related to the Sub-Taboo Hall. She doesn't have to worry too much about it. She just hopes that her student won't think too much about Vincent's strength. Meanwhile, John Myers, who returned from the mission, also came to know about this. He immediately went to find Vincent. But unfortunately, Vincent has left for a mission. He won't be returning anytime soon. John Myers' heart filled with surprise. He had never expected Vincent to take a mission without consulting him. Then later he learned about the ins and outs of the situation. Wizard Gilbert is the reason behind Vincent's mission. A strange emotion flashes in John's eyes. Even for him, it's difficult to contact a true house wizard. But here Vincent can come in contact with a level 6 wizard that easily. Sighing, he then left the Sub-Taboo Hall. Since Vincent is outside right now, he recently escaped from the limelight, but a major storm is brewing slowly. But John believes in higher-ups of Sun Taboo Hall. They won't let anything major happen to Vincent. From MC's perspective, it has been several hours since I've followed this evil wizard. At first, I thought it would be difficult to collect evil magic flowers. But while following him, I saw him collecting some evil magic flowers coincidentally. It was so random. And the evil magic flowers were growing in an unnatural place filled with baleful mana. If not for someone experienced to find out, that place can be easily missed. But coincidentally, the evil wizard came across the evil magic flower. From his look, I see that evil magic flowers were important to him. But thanks to him, I'm not only going to kill him but also collect evil magic flowers from him. Time passed. Seeing the evil wizard collecting some ruined items, I decided to end his life later. The old man has become a treasure collector for me. In these 2 hours, the old man has collected many broken items. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to see the real value of the items. A few minutes later, I see the old man stopped his movements at one point. Seeing that, I carefully concealed my presence. There is also a magic cloak with me. Before coming here, I wore it for safety. But now it turns out to be fruitful. No matter what, it's impossible for an old man to feel mana presence from me. I'm getting to know the real value of the magic cloak. Suddenly the old man's movements caught my attention. He carefully picked something from below. I see a red, triangular-shaped leaf in his palm. What is this? I mumbled under my breath. Goo goo goo. The old man let out a creepy laughter, looking at the red leaf in his hands. Hearing that, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. The old man found something useful again. I muttered to myself. There is no need for action now. I'll kill him when the time is right. After that, everything will be mine. When I'm pondering, I hear the sound of disturbance. It's not near me, but that old man is finally facing some monster. Fourth order salamander monster. Seeing that, quick glint flashes in my eyes. I'm finally going to see the old man's combat power. The salamander has a red and black scale behind its back. Its sharp claws can tear the body of an average level 4 wizard. I want to see what the old man is going to do. Swish! Facing the salamander, the evil wizard immediately cast the spell. A hazy figure formed right next to him, which took the initiative to meet the attack of salamanders. Seeing the figure, I immediately recognized it. Clone, I mumbled under my breath. A clone spell comes under the mysterious category in our wizard world. Seeing that the evil wizard is using the spell just like that, a hint of surprise flashes in my eyes. The clone crossed the dune and clashed with the monster. My expression becomes condensed a little bit. Apart from showing physical prowess, the clone seems to be powerless in other aspects. Suddenly, a look of understanding dawned upon me. The clone is using only one type of attribute, which is strength. The next second, my gaze fell on the evil wizard. The old man seems to be casting the spell again. He was standing in the same spot, but his eyes were staring at the salamander monster. When the spell attack was launched, the salamander roared furiously. Blood is dripping from its eyes. The attack slowed down the monster's movement. Using the opportunity, the clone attacked the monster again. A few minutes later, the cold carcass of the monster dropped to the ground. The evil wizard seems to be tired out. He sat on the ground to recover his mana. But a strange glint flashes in my eyes. That's it, I muttered to myself. The evil wizard doesn't seem to be all that powerful. Both fought neck to neck. It was not a one-sided battle at all. Then I realized something. His spells aren't that great in the first place. On top of it, the monster seems to be unaffected by the evil spell. But he had the clone to distract the monster. Otherwise, it's difficult for the old man to kill the monster. I sighed inwardly. Swish! After a few minutes, I see a visitor again. This time the person is a familiar one. Royal Force Wizard, I mumbled under my breath. What is he doing here? My eyes flickered with a cold glint. The visitor is not good. Instead of attacking, he is casually walking toward the evil wizard. Seeing that, I feel something amiss. The evil wizard stood up from the ground and spoke to the Royal Force Wizard. Acquaintance? I said in my heart. Then I decided to probe the status of the visitor. System, probe the target's details, I told the system. Ding! The host's voice is recognized. Ding, the command is 100% executed. Status panel. Target's name, Paul McClay. Magic ability, Stone Arm. Mage level, level 4 limiter. Talent, top middle. Color, distinct orange. Strength, 311. Speed, 316. Stamina, 318. Vitality, 319. Intelligence, 31, LVL 4. Soul Strength, 32, LVL 4. Constitution 33, LVL 4. Mental Power, 30, LVL 4. Core Status, 70%. Spells, 2. 1. The Stone Blast 2. Rock Palm, Mental Method, Stone Arm Method. Earth Grade. A status panel appeared in front of my eyes. My eyes immediately swept past the details. Stone Arm. I uttered in surprise. It's an Earth Elemental Magic variant. My gaze next fell on his talent, which seems to be okay. Then I stared at his magic spells. Stone Blast? Rock Palm. These two spells sound formidable. After canceling the status panel, I shifted my gaze toward the duo. Seeing this two talking, I couldn't help but furrow my eyebrows. Suddenly, I see two of them exchanging something. The wizard from Royal Force Hall gave some type of stone. Right after seeing that, the evil wizard grinned wildly. I don't know why, but I strongly feel this is not going to be good. This transaction must be stopped. Then I see in exchange the evil wizard takes out evil magic flowers. After seeing that, I lost my patience. Swish! I disappeared from the spot and got closer to them in a blink of an eye. Meanwhile, who is it? The evil wizard got alerted. The royal force wizard's expression darkened. It's not good if someone leaks out their meeting here. He is from government forces. If the news leaks out, it will cause disastrous damage. No, I have to kill the sneaky bee at start. His eyes turned bloodshot the next second. Both of them retracted backward to make some distance. Meanwhile, seeing their expression get flustered, I raised my hand to cast the spell. My target is the evil wizard. After neutralizing him, I can easily take care of the stone arm wizard. Ancient battlefield number 946. Gravity blast, I said. A wisp of powerful spell released from my fingers and shot at the evil wizard. The attack is so fast that the evil old man finds it difficult to evade it in time. When the spell attack fell on him, it immediately threw him away. Boom! Hit by the attack, the evil wizard was thrown away like a broken kite. Meanwhile, caught off guard, the stone arm wizard widened his eyes in disbelief. He knows the rank of the evil wizard. To think he has blasted away just like that. A cold shiver went down his spine. Right after the attack, I turned my gaze toward the royal force wizard. Seeing him scared SHT, a smile appeared on my face. Having contacts with evil wizards, the wizards from Royal Force Hall don't seem to be good at all. These two wizards exchange valuable stuff that easily. For a moment, I couldn't help but look at his storage bracelet. I don't know what else he is keeping in his storage bracelet. Then I raised my hand and pointed my fingers at the stone arm wizard. I'm already aware of his two magic spells, which are already useless in my case. Gravity blast, I said. Another wisp of magic released from my finger and shot at stone arm wizard. Everything is happening at a fast speed. The stone arm wizard didn't expect the situation to turn out like this. He didn't even know the name of the magic that caused the evil wizard to be blown away like that. But his instincts tell him that it's extremely dangerous. But before he could step away, the gravity spell landed on him. Boom! What? He explained in horror the next second. The wisp of gravity magic tore through his body, breaking bones, hereby causing him severe injury. Like the evil wizard, the stone arm wizard also smashed to the ground a few meters away from here. This all happened within a few minutes. None of the wizards had time to think and respond to the attack. After taking care of the stone arm wizard, I walked up to the evil wizard. Then I see a still lingering breath left in him. My mouth curved into an arc. I knew my magic was overbearing. Even though the evil wizard has a mysterious spell in his sleeve, it would be powerless against sub-taboo magic. The evil wizard groaned in pain. Seeing that, I decided to end his lingering breath as well. I brought the broken knife from the storage space. I gripped it firmly in my hand before slicing the neck of the evil wizard. PFFF. The decapitated head rolled over the ground. The process of slicing went so smoothly. Feeling the knife's edge slice through like butter, I observed the knife in a daze again. No resistance whatsoever. Then my gaze fell on the storage bracelet. I bent down to pick it up. Next, I glanced at the stone arm wizard. I knew the body of the level 4 wizard is quite resilient. When I walked near the body of the stone arm wizard, I see the state of damage. His body was injured even worse than the evil wizard's. Like the evil wizard, he is also gasping for his last breath. Seeing that, I waste no time in decapitating his head again. PFFF. Another head rolled over the ground. It's a pity he shouldn't have met with an evil wizard. Shaking my head, I collected his storage bracelet. Now, I got both storage bracelets. It's time to see the collection in it. Then I turned the body of these two into ashes before clearing all the signs of battle. A few minutes later, I reached a different spot. This spot is a mile away from the previous battle location. But around me, there is no sign of ruin. It's a relatively stable ground compared to the marked areas on the map. Seeing a vast barren land on all sides, I sighed in relief. Because there is no blind spot, I can easily spot a monster or fellow wizard from a distance itself. So I'm standing in a relatively safe spot. Then I found a nearby rock to sit on. Sitting, I took the storage bracelet of the evil wizard to explore. I seeped my mental power into it. Then inside, I see many disgusting objects. Unnamed liquid bottles, several organs stored in glass bottles, evil objects like magic flowers, black crow eyes, and teeth of unknown monsters. My gaze swept past everything. That's right, the kinds of stuff were all related to evil magic. As far as I guess, the evil wizard is trying to break through the limit despite his old age. And several of the unknown objects might be related to his breakthrough attempt. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. It would be good if I can identify the liquid bottles. but I have a strong feeling that these products were made through evil methods. Several of them involve inhumane methods. Sighing, I looked at the only good collection again, which is the evil magic flower. There are 150 evil magic flowers in it. I need only 100 for the mission. I can save the rest for personal use. After figuring it out, I placed the evil wizard storage bracelet in system space. Next, I held the storage bracelet of the stone arm wizard in my palm. When I seeped my mental power into it, I easily observed the collection. There was no mental imprint left by the stone arm wizard. It disappeared right after his death. Next, I glanced at the valuables, which were greater than the evil wizards. Thankfully, the royal force hall is from the righteous faction, so the stuff in this storage bracelet is useful to me. Suddenly, a certain treasure caught my attention. It's a human face-shaped fruit. Seeing that my pupils constrict. The human face-shaped fruit is purple with a red human face shape on top of it. This particular fruit is quite popular in our mage world, because this fruit is a common breakthrough object used by high-rank wizards. I remember the description of this fruit mentioned in several wizard books. This human face-shaped fruit can be consumed by any wizard. It doesn't matter whether he is a lower or higher rank. This fruit is a one-time consumable and comes with a particular drawback. After consumption, this fruit's energy can raise the strength points by 20. But at the same time, it will consume the mental power by 10. So this fruit comes with a certain disadvantage. I held up my chin in contemplation. For me, there is no need to rely on relics for a breakthrough. I can easily touch the limit as time goes on. If I want to break through fast, I can only find the super relic. The increase in talent will further speed up improvement at a drastic rate. My eyes gleamed with a twinkle. It was already a miracle to come across one super relic to change my talent. Because of it, I have stepped into level 3 rank right now. Thinking about it, I sighed inwardly. Then my gaze fell on another breakthrough object, which is one of the important breakthrough objects of Earth Elemental Wizards. It is called Golden Sand. As far as I know, it doesn't matter which type of Earth Elemental magic, but the energy from Golden Sand can purify the mana present in the wizard's body. My eyes gleamed with a twinkle. This Golden Sand can fetch me good amounts. I bet the wizard from the Elemental Hall would like to collect this special relic. Next, I glanced at several liquid bottles. Unlike the liquid bottles in the evil wizard storage bracelet, these were labeled. When I read the name, a look of understanding dawned upon me. This is the first time I have seen the potion bottle for mana core. This red color liquid bottle is used to stabilize the vibration of the mana core. During the breakthrough, the mana core undergoes a lot of changes. If not carefully controlled, cracks will form on the mana core, which will be very detrimental to future breakthroughs. But this is everything based on the purity of the mana core. Wizards who got pure mana core don't require this potion bottle. But it's different when it comes to impure main core. So this stone wizard had an impure mana core, I mumbled under my breath. But I wasn't surprised in my heart. He had contact with an evil wizard, so it's normal to say that he had perhaps used a lot of crooked ways to improve his power. Shaking my head, I looked at the other stuff. After a few minutes, I placed the storage bracelets back in my system space. Apart from several breakthrough objects, there is nothing else valuable. I let out a deep sigh before getting up. Now that I have collected evil magical flowers, I guess it's time to leave. I looked around the surroundings before moving towards the exit. I changed my route on the way to avoid the previous clash site. I returned to the outskirts a few hours later. On the way here, I didn't stop even for a moment, because I didn't want to bump into any other wizards, especially the wizards from Royal Force Hall. Standing here, I immediately contacted the flying carriage driver. I believe that the old man will arrive here shortly. Just like I had predicted, a flying beast appears in the sky half an hour later. Seeing the long neck of the familiar beast, I realized that this is the same carriage from the academy. Swish! The flying carriage slowly descended onto the ground. I see the same old man driving the carriage. Looks like he had waited for me at a nearby resting place. A hint of approval flashes in my eyes. When the flying carriage came to halt, I walked up to the cabin to enter. The old man's eyes flashed with surprise. He sees no injury on the young mage. He seems all right and fine. Looking at the peaceful expression on the young mage's face, he feels the young mage has faced no trouble out here. He thinks it's also good for the academy. If there is any mishap, it will cause unnecessary trouble. After letting go of his worry, the old man starts to drive the flying carriage. Inside the cabin, phew, I exhaled in relief, sitting close to the glass window. I have to say, now I feel peace of mind. There was no unnecessary trouble on the way. But thinking about the academy, a wry smile appeared on my face. I believe now the news about my breakthrough must have been known to many wizards, including both the outer and inner house. During my stay in the outer house, no one had challenged me. But I have a vague feeling that it would be different in the inner house. Because from the inner house and above, wizards are a mainstay of the academy. It is normal to be challenged by fellow wizards. My mouth curved into an arc, feeling that the probation period is over. And now I'm a real disciple of the Yellow River Academy. I have a strong feeling that after my return to the academy, someone will challenge me officially. A few hours later, the flying carriage enters the space of the Yellow River Academy. The appearance of the carriage didn't attract that much attention, because this flying carriage is one of many flying carriages which were coming and going at this moment. Swish! The flying carriage flew towards the platform and started to descend slowly. When the carriage touched the ground, creak! I opened the door and walked out. Touching the ground, I feel good coming back safe from the mission. Then after bidding goodbye to the driver, I walked towards the academy. Walking, a quick glint flashes in my eyes. It's good to go back to my room first, I mumbled under my breath. Don't know what changes have occurred during my absence. I made up my mind to see the social media post before going to the hall. A few minutes later, I reached my dorm. But suddenly I feel a lot of peeping gazes. My eyes flickered with a cold glint. Looks like the reactions were stronger than I had expected. But without minding their scrutinizing gazes, I walked back to my room. Creak! After entering the room, I impatiently logged into the academy's social media site. When the page was shown, a lot of information appeared before my eyes. Shocking news! Vincent Carey entered the inner house. Statement confirmed by Subtabu Hall. Special class student Vincent Carey successfully broke through to reach level 3 rank. What is going to happen now? Vincent Carey is a level 3 wizard now. Is there anyone going to challenge him? Battle Tower is now crowded with wizards. Everyone is now looking forward to seeing Vincent Carey. My eyes swept past several posts about me. Looking at several likes and comments, a strange expression appeared on my face. After reaching level 3, I went to complete the mission. But in the meantime, these people caused so much more noise than I had expected. My eyes then paused for one moment. Wizards are waiting for me to show up at Battle Tower. A strange glint flashes in my eyes. I hold the record for the outer house Battle Tower rank. And the inner house first place is held by Lara White. Now with her recent rank in a special class, it's normal for others to expect that I will enter the Battle Tower to challenge her status. Should I go to the Battle Tower or not? That appeared in my heart. But the next second I shook my head in denial. I have yet to visit the library. I want to see what the spell models for level 3 rank in the library are. After figuring it out, I decided to go to the library later. After a few minutes, I changed into new clothes after taking a shower. Next, my gaze fell on the clock. It's evening time, so there will not be many wizards in the library at this moment. I wore the red magic robe on top of my shirt. After getting ready, I left my room and headed toward the academy. After leaving the dorm, I see no spying gazes. Looks like they all left after confirming my identity. Shaking my head, I head straight toward the destination. Soon, I reach the academy. After walking into the hall, I immediately walked towards the phone booth. A few minutes later, the phone booth stopped and I walked out. In front of me, a familiar scene appeared. Seeing the atmosphere in the library, a strange glint flashed in my eyes. As I had previously guessed, there are not many people in the library at this moment. Then I walked up to the front desk to verify my identity. A holographic projection ID appeared above my communication watch. After scanning the details, the front desk staff allowed me to enter. Seeing the familiar phone booth again, the expectation rose in my heart. Late gravity ancestor Ao? I wonder what type of spell model he had for level 3 rank. After entering inside, the booth starts to activate. Before I could realize, the booth moved, and it came to halt a few seconds later. When I step out, I see myself in a familiar environment. The dark space covered my surroundings. Right after that, I hear a familiar voice. Visitor is recognized. Student, Vincent Carey, Gravity Wizard level 3 rank. Hall, Subtabu. House, Inner House. Achievement, first place in Outer House Battle Tower rank. Seeing the information in front of me, a hint of approval flashed in my eyes. A few seconds later, other instructions came, and I chose a set of spell models for level 3 rank. I don't know whether it is a library spirit or whatever, but the efficiency is extremely high. After my input, Several spell models came into my view for level 3 rank. Magic, Gravity. Level 3 rank. Created by late Gravity ancestor. Spell model 1, Repulsive Force. Cost free. Repulsive Force. A magic spell works opposite to the gravitational force. The combination of gravitational force and repulsive force greatly increases the combat prowess of Gravity Wizard. Spell model 2, Zero Gravity. Cost, 1000 battle tower points. Zero Gravity. A magic spell eliminates the force of gravity. Gives no chance to the enemy to stand firmly or stabilize himself. Spell model 3, Gravity Shield. Cost, 1000 battle tower points. Gravity Shield. A magic spell manipulates the gravitational force as a shield, hereby disrupting all incoming magic attacks. Seeing that there are only 3 gravity spell models, a hint of disappointment flashed in my eyes. But the next moment, a look of realization dawned upon me. These 3 level 3 rank spell models were all created by the late Gravity ancestor. So in other words, their gravity spells are his inheritance collections. So apart from me, there was no one before who had the privilege to look at these collections. Confusion replaced by clarity appeared in my eyes. Well, it means that I'm the unofficial successor of the late Gravity ancestor. A sudden heat appeared in my heart. But it's a pity that apart from one free level 3 spell model, the other 2 cost 1000 battle tower points each. Right now, I can only buy one of the 2 spells. Fortunately, the most important spell is cost-free. The Repulsive Force spell sounds like an extended version of the Gravity Push spell, but I would like to see to what extent that Repulsive Force spell works. Next, the Zero Gravity spell sounds interesting. It will be extremely helpful during battles, especially against a group of monsters or wizards. And the third spell sounds amazing as well. I guess someone made the spell by applying the power of gravitational force, and it is one of a kind defensive type spell, manipulating the gravity magic to shape it as a shield. I don't know what theory goes behind this magic spell. Sudden inspiration appears in my heart. I have a vague feeling that if I master all the concepts written in the Gravity Wizard books, then I can make my gravity spell model for myself. Central Library. After gaining some clarity, I decided to select the spells. Right after my selection, the battle tower points were deducted from my account, and the row of information appeared in my mind the next second. But with the power of the system, the spell models were engraved in mind directly. I don't have to waste any more time over this like other wizards. This is one of the perks of having the system. It directly eliminates the trouble of practicing and engraving spell models in mind. 1. Repulsive Force 2. Zero Gravity. These 2 spells will further improve my combat prowess. I can't wait to test the spells in Battle Tower. Shaking my head, my attention then turned back to my status. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, Gravity. Mage level 3 limiter. Mental method, Gravity arc, running. Grade, Earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 1%. Progressing. Sacred core, Gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 254. Speed, 255. Stamina, 254. Vitality, 256. Intelligence, LVL.3, 29. Soul power, LVL.3, 28. Mental power, LVL.3, 28. Constitution LVL.3, 29. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 2%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Looking at the change in attributes, a strange glint flashes in my eyes. The half-hearted practice in the ancient battlefield has reflected in my attributes. This was a surprise. Next, my gaze fell on 2 added spells. I have 6 level 3 spells with me. I don't think anyone would dare to mess with me in the future. A warm smile appeared on my face. Next, canceling the status, then I hurriedly walked out of the library. The work in the library has finished. Now I have to go to the mission hall to submit the mission. Several minutes later, walking back to my room, looking at the rich battle tower points in my accounts, my heart turned sour. Currently, the battle tower points were not enough to access intermediate wizard books in the library. Creak. Closing the door, I walked into the room and lay down in my bed. The knowledge inside the intermediate wizard books was tempting, but I feel it's best to complete the basic level books first. Then putting these thoughts behind me, the image of the battle tower surfaced back in my mind. It's okay to go there tomorrow morning, I sighed to myself. The following day, after waking up, I spent 3 hours in meditation. It's going to be a big day today. I don't know what will be the challenge for the inner house wizards like me in the battle tower, but I hope it is not that mana-consuming. Since Lara White can clear the rounds, I think I don't need to worry about it. My mouth curved into an arc, remembering her indifferent gaze the previous time. 9 a.m. Before having breakfast, I walked towards the sub-taboo hall. Now the information about me is known to everyone. On the way, I found people's gazes were piercing. Even the cleaning staff was scanning me up and down. Don't tell me. I'm the one who doesn't realize how popular I am. Shaking my head, I head towards the hall. A few minutes later, I arrived in front of the sub-taboo hall. After completing the verification process, I entered inside. Now no one will disturb me as long as I stay here. But it's impossible, I got a very big plan today. I thought about having breakfast before going to the battle tower. But the sister is nowhere to be seen. Is she late? That appeared in my heart. Then I texted her swiftly. Beep. I got a reply right after saying that she is on the way. In the meantime, I thought about checking social media sites. I don't know what these wizards caused after yesterday's no-show, but I already got a vague guess. They must be smearing at me online. I let out a small chuckle thinking about it. Senior Gilbert told me that people won't be able to sit still if I enter the inner house successfully. Instead of fear, a hint of expectations rose in my heart. Is there going to be a show today? A quick glint flashes in my eyes. Shaking my head, I waited for Senior Carolina to arrive. Creak. After a few minutes, a beautiful silhouette hurriedly appeared in front of me. Carolina's gaze immediately scanned Vincent's body. Seeing that there is no dark injury, a look of surprise appeared on her face. Then it quickly changed to relief. You surprised me with your 100% task completion, she said with a smile. She was aware of the dangers in the ancient battlefield. But her junior brother returned successfully without any injury. This is such an incredible feat. If this news can be shared, then she knows her junior brother's reputation would skyrocket further. At the same time, looking at her enthusiastic expression, a wry smile appeared on my face. She must be thinking I'm fortunate. But in truth, it is all thanks to an evil wizard. Then I decided to ask something important. Sister, what do you know about the Inner House Challenge? I asked. Battle Tower? She blurted out in surprise. I nodded in response. Carolina's expression becomes serious instantly. She is yet to clear the remaining rounds in the battle tower. Her deadly vine magic can't compete against many opponents at the same time. Because of it, she wasn't able to do a stunning performance like Lara White, which had left a bad taste in her mouth. But hearing her junior brother's words again, she realized that Lara White's record is going to break. A bright smile appeared on her face the next moment. Then she recalls the terrible monster which she had come across in the challenges. She then looked at Vincent and replied, apart from intelligent monsters, you are going to face dark monsters or evil spirits. Evil spirits? I uttered in surprise. Evil spirits are the product of evil magic or forbidden experiment. Wizards have done numerous experiments on the soul to find its truth, but many failed experiments resulted in death and gave birth to a lot of evil spirits. If not handled carefully, the evil magic can pollute the mana core. Finally, my expression turned solemn. Fighting against the monsters is boring. Maybe the evil spirits would provide me with a good fighting experience. Then I turned towards Sister and said, I will participate in the challenge after having breakfast. Hearing that, Carolina's eyes gleamed with a twinkle. She remembers how she had waited for him during those outer house challenge times. Both of us then walked towards the dining hall. When we reached the dining hall, I see this time the wizards dining here were higher than usual, and our appearance immediately attracted attention. Gasp! I hear a small gasp near me. I sneered inside. Some of them are intentionally waiting for my appearance. I would like to see who is going to cause trouble now. Without minding their gazes, we walked to the food counter. Beware of those elemental wizards, Sister whispered to me suddenly. My gaze followed her eyes, then I saw a group of wizards looking at us coldly. They are standing near the food counter. I retracted my gaze after one look. When we reached the food counter, the mocking words reached my ears. He. Do you think that sub taboo magic is powerful? One of the 4 elemental wizards said with a mocking smile. The sub taboo magic is powerful. But I heard the user is mediocre, the other wizard replied jokingly. Everyone burst into laughter. Meanwhile, Carolina's eyes burst out with a cold glint. This is not a place for a fight. Strict rules must be followed. Otherwise, she would have sucked the vitality of these ugly faces directly. I immediately noticed a change in her expression. This group is deliberately targeting me. They are expecting some clash to break out. It is not good to retaliate without knowing their plan. Then I convinced her not to act right now. After getting our food plate, we sat in a corner. The view is quite good to notice everyone's movements. Carolina looked at the manhwa, but she isn't in the mood to eat right now. She had expected something like this to happen. But still, it doesn't stop her mood from worsening. Vincent, what are you going to do? She asked. Hearing that, I revealed a small smile before saying, Sister, half of the hostile wizards will be deterred in a few hours. A look of understanding appeared on Carolina's face. Even in the inner house, there is a difference in wizard strength. Dining hall. Seeing that Carolina understood the meaning behind my words, I then focus on eating the food. It's better to fill my stomach before going to the battle tower. When it comes to these ugly pigs, I took a glance at them before continuing to eat the food. I miss my old days when I could easily kill and dump such annoying be at starts. But here I feel restrained. Without having any backup for myself, I won't foolishly bully others. Then I see the ugly pigs from the elemental halls retreat after seeing no response from me. Vincent, how confident are you? Carolina suddenly asked. She felt her junior brother seemed optimistic unlike her. My mouth curved into the arc. She still has lingering doubts in her heart. But I know it's normal. She doesn't know about my exact strength. Sister, you will see soon. So don't think too much about it, I said. And stressing the point again. Carolina smiled embarrassingly. She didn't know how many times she had asked for confirmation. But as her junior brother rightly said, she will know everything during the challenge. Time passed. After having breakfast, we left the dining hall and walked towards the battle tower. As usual, we entered the phone booth and selected the battle tower place. The phone booth moved and in a few seconds it reached its destination. Creak. We both stepped out and walked towards the huge battle tower. Our appearance immediately attracted attention. These people. Seeing the crowd, I got black lines on my forehead. Carolina let out a small chuckle before saying, Vincent, there are a lot of people waiting for you here. She wasn't surprised by the crowd. Since yesterday, wizards have been coming and going in large numbers. Most of them were expecting to see Vincent. I recovered my expression and continued to walk towards the battle tower. It's good that none of these wizards blocked my way. Looking at the myriad of reactions, I guess wizards can't wait to see my inner house ranking. All the best, Carolina gave a thumbs up, saying that. Hearing that, I smiled in response before heading toward the entrance. When I got closer, I slowly opened the black door and stepped inside. The next moment, I fell into pitch black darkness. Before I landed on the ground in a separate space. Visitor's identity recognized. Name, Vincent Carey, Gravity Wizard. Rank, Level 3. House, Inner House. Achievement, rank first in the Outer House Battle Tower ranks. A row of information appeared in front of me the next second. Seeing the familiar process, I didn't get flustered. Do you want to start the Inner House Challenge? Enter Y/N. Seeing another set of instructions, I immediately pressed yes on the virtual screen. Floor 1, the challenge starts in 10 minutes. I adjusted my mind and waited for the environment to change. A few minutes later, the surrounding environment changes completely into gloomy terrain. Looking at the familiar scene, I watch out for the graveyard. Swish! Suddenly, a white skeleton hand appeared above the ground. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. Sister is right. It's all about dealing with evil spirits, I muttered to myself. After a couple of seconds, an entire skeleton stood up from the ground. Unlike previous evil corpses or night soldiers, there are no fluctuations inside this skeleton. I knew it was not that simple. But when my gaze fell on the footprints, my pupil shrinks. It might be the skeleton of a certain wizard. But to confirm, it's best to use the system. System, probe the target's details. I said to the system. Ding. The host's voice is recognized. Ding. The command is initiated %. Status panel. Name, skeleton puppet. Faction, righteous. Level 3. Strength, 222. Vitality, 226. Speed, 225. Stamina, 221. Skill, Bone Crush. A status panel appeared in front of my eyes. My gaze immediately swept past the data. After a few seconds, I retracted my gaze. As I had expected, this skeleton is different. It's not leaking any evil mana. Thinking about the name, my confusion cleared up a little bit. There are wizards in the world who walk the path of puppetry. Maybe this skeleton is a product of their magic. The more I think about it, the more it feels real. Swish! The skeleton rushed towards me all of a sudden. Seeing that, I pointed my fingers at the skeleton. Gravity blast, I said. A wisp of a magic shot at the incoming skeleton. In a blink of an eye, the spell attack lands a hit. Boom! The skeleton broke into pieces under the gravity blast attack. This all happened within seconds. When the smoke cleared, I see no trace of the skeleton. Floor cleared. 1. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. Seeing that, I choose to proceed to the next round. Right after that, the landscape changes drastically. This time, I stood in the middle of the big graveyard. 2 more skeletons rose one after another. Seeing one more skeleton, a quick glint flashes in my eyes. The inner house challenge appears to be similar to the outer house, except for the opponents. I have this feeling that if it's true, then it will continue until the 10th round. Shaking my head, I focus my gaze on the 2 puppet skeletons again. System, probe the target's details. I said to the system. Ding. The host's voice is recognized. Ding. The command is initiated %. Status panel. Name, skeleton puppet. Faction, righteous. Level 3. Strength, 232. Vitality, 233. Speed, 232. Stamina, 232. Skill, Bone Crush. Status panel. Name, skeleton puppet 2. Faction, righteous. Level 3. Strength, 236. Vitality, 237. Speed, 235. Stamina, 234. Skill, Bone Crush. Seeing the data in the status panel, I confirmed my earlier guess. The process is similar except for the opponents. Instead of a monster, I will face different opponents this time. A look of understanding dawned upon me. Then, without waiting further, I pointed my fingers at the puppet skeleton and released 2 consecutive attacks. Boom! One after another, the gravity blast attack lands a deadly blow on the skeleton puppet, which got crushed right after the attack. Floor cleared. 2. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. Right after my selection, the landscape changed again. 15 minutes later, I cleared several consecutive floors within a few minutes. When the smoke got cleared, I received instructions. Floor cleared. 8. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. The landscape widened after my selection, making room for more puppet skeletons to appear. But I didn't get flustered. Rather, I'm more looking forward to the 11th floor. Swish! The puppet skeletons appeared one after another. In a blink of an eye, 9 skeletons surrounded me. My mouth curved into an arc. The puppet skeleton got the intelligence of fallen wizards. It somehow gives me the feeling that I'm fighting against a real level 3 wizard. But thankfully, the spells aren't that great. When the puppet skeletons rushed toward me at the same time, I simply stood in the same spot and uttered a repulsive force. Suddenly, a terrific repulsive force released from my body. The force is so powerful that it repelled all the objects quite close to me. My eyes widened in surprise. All the puppet skeletons were thrown away like a broken quiet. Some of them got destroyed by the repulsive force itself. Using this opportunity, I shot a gravity blast spell to end the remaining monsters. Floor cleared. 9. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. After a few seconds, the instruction came again. The environment didn't change much after my selection. It's the same graveyard setting except for adding one more puppet skeleton this time. I furrowed my eyebrows slightly. I didn't use the repulsive force spell properly. One attack was enough to crush all the skeletons, but some of them got thrown away by the force. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. Why don't I use the combination of the zero gravity spell and then repulsive force? An idea strikes my mind. Swish! When I'm pondering, the puppet skeleton surrounds me one by one. But this time the puppet skeleton stood quite away from me. Intelligence, I muttered to myself. But I know once I reveal any sign of weakness, the puppet skeleton will immediately rush towards me. Suddenly, one of the puppet skeletons attacked me. I didn't use the repulsive force spell instead, I cast the gravity push spell. When the spell attack landed a hit, the skeleton flew backward and smashed into the ground. The next second, I put up an act. I slightly stepped backward instead of attacking the skeletons. I noticed one more thing earlier. As time goes on, the puppet skeleton's clarity is replaced by a sense of urgency. I guess this might be the work of the battle tower. The battle tower doesn't want any stalemate. It's pushing the opponents to attack the challenger. Battle tower. The changes take place in the leaderboard ranking constantly. The wizards waiting outside were staring in disbelief, because the floors got cleared in a quick session. Not even 5 minutes have passed on each floor. Carolina blinked her beautiful eyes. The lingering doubts in her heart were completely swept away at this moment. What speed? She muttered to herself. Even for her, it's not easy to clear the round in seconds. But her junior brother is doing it casually. Good for him. She then continues to watch the changes silently. Meanwhile, the hostile wizards from different halls were observing the changes. Especially the inner house wizards from the elemental hall were seriously pondering over this situation. Relying on numbers, they took initiative to confront Vincent compared to wizards from other halls. But now they have to rethink their plan. Especially after knowing Vincent's breakthrough, the outer house wizards decided to stay away from him. Not only different halls were discussing it, but someone posted the leaderboard rankings online. And people couldn't help but compare Lara White and Vincent Carey straight away. When the elemental hall picked up the side, undercurrents also surged under the bloodline hall. Some hot-blooded bloodline wizards already went to the battle tower space, while the rest of the hall is showing a wait-and-watch attitude, or they haven't received any orders from their superior. In either case, not all of the hall is going to cause trouble for Vincent. Meanwhile, Lara White is watching the update, quietly sitting in her room. Here she has more privacy compared to the taboo hall. She couldn't shift her attention to some other stuff. Vincent's clearance speed surprised her greatly. He cleared those rounds in seconds, which was something difficult for her. She knows what it means to clear those rounds in seconds. Vincent must have done an instant kill. Thinking about it, her expression got dulled a little bit. When all the puppet skeletons charged toward me, I noticed the sudden changes. The skeleton doesn't appear to be rational. Zero gravity, I uttered. A magic power released from my body. Right after the object or monster close to me began to levitate in the midair. Seeing the plight of puppet skeletons, my mouth curved into an arc. The next moment, I slowly uttered, a repulsive force. A sudden magic force released from my body, repelling the objects along the way. The speed is so fast that the repulsive force didn't even spare the puppet skeletons. Everything got smashed under the mighty pressure. Right after that instruction appeared. Floor cleared, 10. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. Seeing that, I selected yes. I don't know what new monster is going to appear now. The terrain changes again, but the gloomy atmosphere is similar to the last round. What appears in front of me is the lair of a monster. Seeing the cave structure, I walked forward to enter. When I stepped inside, I saw a lot of small spiders on the stone walls. After seeing all that, a small understanding appeared on my face. This round is going to be different. When I walked a bit deeper, I realized we will reach a dead end soon. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. Is it going to be a creepy spider monster? Inside the cave, the air environment is filled with a natural evil aura. Swish! Right after, a disgusting monster came into view. The monster's body is covered with an evil aura. Looking at it, I quickly realized. It's a natural-born evil monster. System, probe the target's details, I said to the system. Ding! The host's voice is recognized. Ding! The command is initiated %. Status panel. Name, Evil Magic Spider. Level, mid-third order monster. Strength, 245. Vitality, 243. Speed, 246. Stamina, 242. Skill, Poison Web, Magic Eye, Evil Mists. A row of information appeared in front of me. My gaze immediately set on the skills. Seeing that the monster got 3 skills, my eyes lit up with surprise. This is not an everyday wilderness monster. It's a rare evil breed, but the size of the monster is comparable to a wilderness spider, so it can easily deceive others. Swish! While I'm pondering, a black spider web quickly shoots at me. Seeing that, I uttered a repulsive force. A terrific force quickly repelled away the incoming spider web. Not only is the force stopped, but it quickly comes into contact with the monster. Pff. The monster slammed into the cave structure and suffered a gruesome injury. Then I cast a gravity blast spell to end the life of the monster. Floor cleared. 11. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. I was selected to proceed to the next round. Right after the election, the environment changes again. This time it's a large, gloomy, and dark cave structure. Swish! My gaze immediately fell on the black spider webs all over the cave structure. The black web is distinctively different from other spider webs. My gaze then shifted to 2 black spider monsters. Their big eyes were scanning me. Then, without waiting for the monster to shoot, I said, a gravity field. A tremendous gravitational force appeared out of nowhere, and the huge pressure instantly pulled everything down. Pff. 2 spider monsters fell from the cave structure under gravity pressure and got crushed to the ground. Floor cleared. 12. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. Again, I choose to enter the next round. The magic spider is harmless to me, so I made up my mind to quickly clear consecutive rounds. Time passed in a blink of an eye. Several minutes later, I reached the 20th floor. Again, it's a similar environment, but the number of monsters increased by 10. Unlike the previous floor, the magic spiders inside the cave were all active. Right after my appearance, all the magic spiders shot the black web at me. Repulsive force, I said. A terrific opposing force quickly repelled away all the incoming attacks and caused some of the monsters to die. Seeing the failure, the remaining magic spiders began to flee. This scene is different than I had expected. I cast multiple gravity blast spells to kill the remaining monsters in the cave. Floor cleared. 20. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. Seeing that, I selected the usual option. I hope the next challenge will be interesting. After 10 minutes, the environment changes again. This time, it's an open vast plain. But looking at the damaged land and debris and all, the setting reminds us of the destruction or aftermath of the battle. Again, there is no sunlight. The dark clouds covered the entire sky. The climatic conditions favor evil magic and it's similar to past rounds. Swish! An object brushes past me at breakneck speed. But I caught the image of the monster. It's vivid in my memory. Black magic crow, I mumbled under my breath. It's a favorite pet monster for evil wizards. And some evil cults worship magic crow as supreme existence. From the library accounts, it says that the black crow has an extraordinary origin even back in the ancient period. After figuring it out, I decided to check its status. System, probe the target's details, I said to the system. Ding! The host's voice is recognized. Ding! The command is initiated %. Status panel. Name, Black Magic Crow variant. Level, mid-third order monster. Strength, 265. Vitality, 262. Speed, 263. Stamina, 263. Skill, evil illusions, hypnosis, evil cry. A row of information appeared in front of me. Screech! When I'm viewing the status, a terrible scream rang in my ears. The magic sound immediately caused a mental disturbance. My expression changed drastically. Damn, I underestimated this bird, I muttered to myself. From the beginning, the bird monster is not interested in attacking me physically. I should have known by looking at the status. The black magic crow seemed to be a variant as well. I see the black magic crow circling above in the sky. Seeing that, a wry smile appeared on my face. Suddenly, I noticed the changes in my body. It's very minute, but I feel it's there. Don't tell me the earlier attack caused some injury to me. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity Core Status, LVL.3, 1%. Progressing. Sacred Core Gravity Core. Mana Power 700. Mana Capacity 700. Talent, Top Bottom, Upgradable. Color Pale Orange. Strength, 257. Speed, 258. Stamina, 257. Vitality, 259. Intelligence, LVL.3, 32. Soul Power, LVL.3, 31. Mental Power, LVL.3, 29. Constitution LVL.3, 31. Sacred Gravity Physique LVL.2, 2%. Spell Models 6. 1. Gravity Field LVL.3. 2. Gravity Push LVL.3. 3. Gravity Pull LVL.3. 4. Gravity Blast LVL.3. 5. Repulsive Force LVL.3. 6. Zero Gravity LVL.3. Spell Slots Available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage Space Items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and Spell Books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of me and my gaze fixed on the mental power. After seeing the reduction in mental power, I realized the earlier mental attack from the Black Crow had caused an injury. Then I moved from my spot and waited for the perfect opportunity to shoot down the bird. The Black Crow finds no opportunity to kill the enemy. Every time it decides to attack, the enemy moves away from the position. After circling one more time in the sky, it suddenly dived down. My mouth curved into an arc. I pointed my fingers at the coming bird monster and uttered, "Gravity Blast." A wisp of gravity magic shot at the bird monster. In a blink of an eye, the power lands a hit at the bird monster. PFFF. The gravity magic tore through the body of Black Growth and the force ravaged the inner organs, causing the vitality to drop to 0. Right after the death, the body of the Black Crow fell to the ground. Floor cleared. 21. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. Seeing that, I was selected to go to the next round. Then I noticed that my mental power of mine didn't recover at all, which means it won't recover till the end of the challenge. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. I knew there must be some trick. How could the challenge be so easy? After gaining some clarity, I decided to stay alert hereafter. The magic power of the Black Crow gave me a huge surprise, which shows the horror of evil magic. It's full of strangeness, weirdness, and unpredictability. Time passed in a blink of an eye. After learning lessons from the Black Crow monster, I cleared further floors in a quick session. Eventually, I cleared the 30th, 40th, 50th, 60th, and 70th floors in an hour. 1 hour later. Floor cleared. 80. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. I opted to enter the next round. 20 more floors, then I will be crowned as first ranker in the inner house ranking as well. Thinking about it, my mouth curved into an arc. 10 minutes passed in a blink of an eye. This time the terrain changes into a tropical forest. But the forest here is different from that one normally seen in the wilderness. Seeing the unusually long trees, a sudden piece of information strikes my mind. I have read it before. The scene looks close to what is described in wizard books. It may be a magical forest. The magical forest is home to strange species. I don't know what type of monsters will pop up. Buzz. All of a sudden I hear a buzzing sound from nowhere. As I perked up my ears, I found the buzzing sound seemed to come from the flapping of wings. But I couldn't figure out which bird monster is causing such a noise. Anyway, I didn't let down my guard. After a few seconds, I see the familiar scene of black clouds in the air. The scene reminds me of the level 6 wizard. Why does it look similar to the bugs of an insect wizard? I muttered to myself. System, probe the target's details, then I said to the system. Ding. The host's voice is recognized. Ding. The command is initiated %. Status panel. Name, blood-sucking mosquito, variant. Level, 4th order monster. Strength, 324. Vitality, 321. Speed, 323. Stamina, 325. Skill, hallucination, blood poison. A row of information appeared before my eyes. Seeing that it's a 4th order monster, my mouth curved into the arc. Finally, there is a 4th order monster in the trial. I was wondering why there was no sign of 4th order monsters earlier. To deal with this swarm of mosquitoes, fortunately, I got a perfect spell for it. The size of the mosquitoes was similar to the normal mosquitoes that we see in our day-to-day life. But when I see the blood red eye of the mosquitoes, I see how dangerous it is. If these magic mosquitoes are released into the town of regular humans, then these mosquitoes will suck up the blood of people overnight. A terrific silent killer. My eyes burst out with a cold glint. More than a single terrain monster, these types of insect monsters pose a great threat to everyone. When the swarm got closer to me, I knew these mosquitoes can't hold onto themselves, smelling my hot blood. Then I cast the spell. Repulsive force, I uttered. A terrific opposing force released from my body. Tiny mosquitoes were closer to me. PFFF. Turned into blood mist the next second. Before casting the spell, I made up my mind to use more gravity magic power in my spell, combining the magic power with repulsive force. The fourth order insect monster got no chance to live. In a blink of an eye, all other insects turned into blood mist. Seeing the beautiful scenery, a small smile appeared on my face. I have done a good thing by learning this spell before coming to the battle tower. Repulsive force spell is as good as gravity field spell. Floor cleared. 81. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. After selecting the option, I waited for the next floor to appear. After 10 minutes, the same scene is happening before my eyes. I'm standing in the middle of the tropical forest, and I hear the same buzzing sound. Right after, I see two separate mosquito groups nearing me. The blood poison skill of the monster seems dangerous. Imagine getting bitten by many mosquitoes. It will certainly pose danger to the high-ranking wizards. The fourth order monster seems intelligent. It stopped its movements after getting closer to me. Seeing that, I cast the spell again. The repulsive force spell again caused instant death. In a blink of an eye, two mosquito groups died. This spell acts well as both an offensive and defensive spell. Time passed. I cleared the consecutive floors by relying on a repulsive force spell. The spell is very efficient against group-type monsters. All I have to do is to increase the gravity magic to power up the spell. The mosquito groups turned into blood mist the next second. Several minutes later. Floor cleared. 90. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. After seeing the instruction, I sighed in relief. Finally, I'm stepping into the last hurdle. Then I was selected to proceed to the next round. I don't know what will appear in the last round. A hint of expectation rose in my heart. 10 minutes later, the terrain changed in a blink of an eye. I feel a terrible cold all of a sudden. When I touched my feet on the ground, a hint of surprise flashes in my eyes. Snow terrain, I mumbled under my breath. Everywhere I look around, I only see snow plains. A cold wind brushed past my face. When I'm looking around casually, a sudden roar disturbed me. Then a gigantic figure caught my attention. What is this? Looking at the humongous figure, I mumbled under my breath. But when the figure got closer to me, I get a clear view of it. The monster appeared to be 10 foot tall in height, and its fingers were not that of a typical monster finger but a metallic claw. System, probe the target's details, then I said to the system. Ding! The host's voice is recognized. Ding! The command is initiated %. Status panel. Name, Snow Monster. Level, 4th Order Monster. Magic, Bloodline. Strength, 378. Vitality, 376. Speed, 377. Stamina, 379. Skill, Snow Fist, Cold Roar, Metal Claw. Additional Bloodline skill, Bloodline Rage, all attributes 50+. A row of information appeared before my eyes. Looking at the status, only one thing comes to my mind. A pure Bloodline 4th Order monster. My expression couldn't help but dignify a little bit. My attributes were nowhere near it. If I get slammed by this monster, then I would be eliminated right away. So far I had dealt with 4th Order monsters using overpowered gravity magic. Otherwise, it would have been impossible to reach here. Then my gaze immediately fell on additional Bloodline skills, which is Domineering. And when this power is activated, the snow monster would be no less than that of the 5th Order monster. Roar. When I'm looking at the status, the snow monster released an attack right after seeing me. I see a beam of ice attack coming towards me at breakneck speed. Seeing that, I immediately operated my speed to move away from the spot. I don't want to get near the snow monster. Boom! The ice beam attack lands a hit at an empty spot, causing a massive crack. The aftermath of the attack immediately swept away nearby snow, hereby damaging the landscape. Seeing the failed attack, the snow monster roared, and immediately it chases down its prey. At the same time, looking at the speed of the snow monster, a terror chilled down my spine. The snow monster charged toward me. Seeing that, I cast the repulsive force spell. Right after, a terrific opposing force released from my body and smashed into the snow monster. PFFF. The snow monster got hit by a heavy blow. The gravity power tore through its organs without much resistance. Roar! It let out a roar, feeling agonizing pain. But the next second, the monster's eyes turned blood red. It's stimulating its bloodline to increase its power. The monster's current state didn't go unnoticed under my eyes. Especially seeing the blood red eye of the monster. I pointed my fingers at the monster and uttered, "Gravity Blast." This time I didn't hold back my overpowered gravity magic. Right after the spell, a wisp of magic shot at the monster at breakneck speed. The gray color magic tore through the air and reaches the monster in a blink of an eye. The monster in the maddened state didn't notice the changes. Boom! When the magic comes in contact with the monster's body, it immediately blasted away the maddened monster. Roar! The gravity force completely broke the defense of the monster. PFFF. Blood splattered around the ground. The monster let out a final roar before completely losing its breath. Floor cleared, 91. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. Seeing that, I proceed to go to the next round. Time passed in a blink of an eye. I cleared consecutive floors in no time. Knowing the monster got bloodline power, I didn't hold back the overpowered gravity magic and killed the monster with a few blows. Several minutes later. Floor cleared, 100. The next challenge starts in 10 minutes. Do you want to proceed or not? Enter Y/N. Seeing that, my mouth curved into an arc. Finally, I reached the last floor. Now my record equals Lara White's performance. But my speed of floor clearance is greater than hers. I wonder what will happen on leaderboard? Shaking my head, I opted to enter the final round. After 10 minutes, I appeared in the middle of a similar snow plain. Roar! Right after that, 10 snow monsters rushed toward me. The intellect of the bloodline monster is greater than an ordinary monster. It knows that I'm the enemy who trespassed into its territory. A wry smile appeared on my face. I know if not for my overpowered gravity magic, I'm not be a match to these bloodline monsters. Shaking my head, I cast the repulsive force spell. A huge opposing force released from my body. In a matter of seconds, it slammed into the surrounding monsters. PFFF. From the force of full impact, the monster flew backward and got crashed into the ground. The terrible landing further caused cracks in the ground. Using this opportunity, I released the gravity blast spells to end the monster's life. In a blink of an eye, the monsters died one after another. When the last monster died, I disappeared from the spot and appeared outside of the battle tower. Phew, I exhaled in relief as my feet touched the ground. But when I raised my head to look, the scene in front of me made me widen in disbelief. What the F***? I muttered to myself. The number of people who came to watch my performance was higher than I had expected. I couldn't even see the tail end. My gaze swept past the wizards in front of me. I also noticed a majority of them were the outer house wizards. Seeing that, I let out a small smirk. I wasn't surprised by their appearance. Gasp! Meanwhile, the crowd exclaimed in surprise. Vincent made history by clearing the inner house trial within a few hours. These amazing feat are even dazzler than Lara White's performance. At this time, a beautiful silhouette appeared in front of me. I didn't mind the exclamation from the crowd. Vincent! Carolina said. Seeing her, I nodded my head and then my gaze turned toward the leaderboard. Leaderboard, inner house ranks. First, Vincent Carey, level 3 gravity wizard. Seeing my name appearing in the first position, a wide smile appeared on my face. As I had guessed before, my speed of clearance is higher than Lara White's. And her name dropped down to the second position. I can't wait to see her reaction to these changes. Thinking about it, I laughed out loud in my heart. Carolina Slate furrowed her eyebrows in confusion. Her junior brother appeared to be in a daze. She doesn't know what is he thinking. Then suddenly realizes something. Her expression turned serious and she said, Vincent, let's go to our hall. I have something to tell you. Hearing that, smile on my face disappeared. Looking at her solemn expression, I have vaguely guessed something. Then nodding my head in response, I walked out with her. At the same time, the hostile group of wizards immediately left the battle tower to spread the news. Even the neutral wizards from different halls can't wait to post the news on social media. While this is happening, the change in battle tower records also reached the higher-ups. Especially the name Vincent Carey is extremely dazzling in both the outer house and inner house ranks. Meanwhile, in a separate magical place deep inside the academy. Yeah. That could cause the noise again, the old powerhouse muttered to himself. Shall we declare him as a successor seed? This time he spoke to the dark, empty space right next to him. A few seconds later, a hoarse voice came from the empty space. Wait until he reaches the core house. Now it's too early to rope him into an inheritance battle. Hearing the reply from a deep voice, the powerhouse fell silent. Meanwhile, we reached our sub-taboo hall a few minutes later. After walking into our hall, I sat on the sofa and waited for her to reply. To be honest, I feel completely blank in my mind. And my thoughts were all around the bloodline monster. Nobody knows about the horror of the bloodline monster. Most of the outer wizards might think I cleared those floors without putting much effort. But only I knew my attributes were nowhere near the evil and bloodline monsters. This also makes me wonder. Is Lara's snowstorm magic similar to mine? If her snowstorm magic is overpowered similar to mine, then there will be some interesting things to watch in the future. But I also think the possibilities were slim. I gained the overpowered ability of gravity by consuming the energy from meteor rocks. So a similar thing is unlikely to happen with Lara White. When I'm lost in thoughts, Carolina is checking the online site. After a few seconds, Vincent, congratulations. You easily proved me wrong, she said with a bitter laugh. She couldn't even clear the inner house trials. But her junior brother got first place on his first attempt. Which shows that Vincent has strength to kill her. How long has it been? She exclaimed in her heart. She still has this feeling that Vincent is a newcomer and it would take some time for him to act on his own. But she knows Vincent has the strength to protect himself. And Vincent's overwhelming performance in both houses will attract higher-ups' attention. And they will eventually provide some kind of protection. At the same time, I remained silent to her questions. Her deadly vine magic is not weak either. But I don't want to explain what went down there in the battle tower. The overpowered gravity magic is my own secret. There is nothing good about revealing the news. Then I decided to change the topic and asked, Senior, earlier you wanted to speak about something else to me? Hearing that, Carolina retracted her thoughts and gained some clarity. During Vincent's trial inside the battle tower, she observed the movements of wizards outside the tower at that time. Apart from the elemental hall, she had noticed the wizards from the bloodline hall were also large in numbers. Vincent looks the bloodline hall also going to make a move against you, she uttered in a cold tone. Bloodline hall. I blurted out in surprise. Bloodline again? I couldn't help but think of a snow monster. How? Don't worry, sister. I will take care of them, I assured her about my safety. She probably thinks people would gang upon me in the future. She forgets that I'm a gravity mage. My gravity magic works well against the groups. And I got 2 exclusive spells to fight against the groups. Gravity field and repulsive force. Now I'm feeling more addicted to using repulsive force than a gravity blast spell. Carolina nodded her head in understanding. She is clear of Vincent's strength now. There is no point in persuading further, at most she can tell the news to other sub-taboo wizards in our hall. Beep! Suddenly her watch lit up with a notification. Seeing that she accessed the message to read it. After a few seconds, a quick glint flashes in her eye. Her gloomy mood is replaced with a bright smile on her face. Sub-taboo hall. Carolina Slate's eyes lit up with surprise. She turned toward Vincent and said, In a few days, other inner members of our hall will arrive here. It's great news. Hearing her words, my mouth twitched. She has been saying this for a while. But apart from Senior Gilbert, I haven't seen other members yet. When my gaze fell on her communication watch, I think the news might be true. I don't know what their magic powers are. An expectation rose in my heart. Then we spent a few minutes in discussion before I left the hall. On the way, I didn't stop anywhere and quickly reached my room. Creak! After walking into my room, I quickly took a long shower before lying down in bed. I know there may be chaos happening outside right now, but now I need to take some rest. Time passed. I woke up a few hours later. Just right before dinner time. I sat and immediately checked my mental power status through the system. Seeing that my mental power is the same as yesterday, I sighed in relief. So whatever changes happen inside the battle tower are not permanent. After figuring it out, my thoughts became clear. Then I noticed many notifications on my communication watch. I quickly accessed it to read it. When I realized it was a notification from the academy, I knew it must be rewarded for clearing the battle tower challenge. After reading the message, I feel it's worth it to achieve the first rank position. As a part of the rewards, I can now access intermediate wizard books freely in the library. This reward came as a surprise. Now I can learn more about our world. If other wizards learn about my rewards, their eyes would bleed with envy. Others are spending battle tower points to access library information. And here I got free access to intermediate knowledge in the library. I feel the reward is given exclusively to me. And I don't think it's the same case with Lara White. I revealed a small smirk on my face. Then my gaze swept past other rewards. There is nothing new except battle tower points and mana stones. After taking a glance at them, I read further messages. Tomorrow I have a special class. I'm looking forward to Mentor Lion's next plan. Then I thought about the simulation battle. Maria currently holds first place in special class ranks. She defeated me in the last simulation battle. So if there is another simulation battle, I will get back my first place for sure. Shaking my head, I read other messages before closing the communication watch. The following day, I woke up early and decided to meditate after getting freshened up. A few minutes later, I sat cross-legged on the mat. Then I slowly started to run the gravity arc mental method in mind. Gray color mana particles entered my body as time went on. And I circulated these mana particles according to the gravity arc mental method. After circulation, the purified mana settled down in the mana core finally. I repeated the process. Time passed in a blink of an eye. I opened my eyes 3 hours later. Feeling the slight increase in strength, my mouth curved into an arc. I feel the overwhelming power brewing in my mana core. It was a sensation before it returned to normal. Then I decided to check the system. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL 0.35%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 260. Speed, 262. Stamina, 260. Vitality, 262. Intelligence, LVL 0.335. Soul power, LVL 0.334. Mental power, LVL 0.333. Constitution LVL 0.334. Sacred gravity physique, LVL 0.2, 5%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL 0.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL 0.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL 0.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL 0.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL 0.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL 0.3. Spell slots available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. My gaze immediately swept past the attributes. Seeing the mana core and physique get some progression, I smiled in relief. It's because I'm yet to uncover the mystery of my physique. My only hope is that intermediate wizard books would provide me with some information. I made up my mind to visit the library after the special class. Time passed. After having breakfast, I immediately head toward the special class. Strangely, no one recognized me on the way. Using the opportunity, I quickly accessed the phone booth to go to the special class environment and walked out of the booth a few minutes later. Special class. I see a lot of familiar faces walking towards the huge gate. When I got closer, my appearance caused a small commotion. Look, it's him. Vincent Carey, one of the students said to his friend. Damn, looks like he got stronger after the breakthrough, another seed wizard muttered to himself. Do you think he can beat Lara White? No way, she is a level 4 wizard. Students started to gossip among themselves. A few seconds later, a beautiful silhouette appeared. Seeing her, the students quieted down completely. Because she is none other than Lara White. Now Vincent is here. They can't wait to see the drama going to unfold before their eyes. Meanwhile, Lara White noticed the presence of Vincent. She frowned. The news about Vincent's record yesterday was already known by many. Like others, she was also in a state of disbelief. It took her some time to digest the news. Now the fighting instinct rose in her heart. Instead of speculating on Vincent's strength, she felt it was better to challenge him right away. On the other hand, my lips bent slightly. Looking at her pondering, I don't know why, but I feel it has something to do with me. Swish! The next moment, a majestic pressure appeared out of nowhere. Under the pressure, everyone bent their knees. This? I raised my eyebrows in confusion. Because the person who caused this is none other than Wizard Lion. He is our mentor, then why is he doing this out of nowhere? Is he testing our will? A look of understanding dawned upon me. Then I tried to withstand the pressure. But unfortunately, my attributes were similar to others. It will be a matter of time before I bend my knee. From the corner of my eyes, I noticed Lara White's expression. She is doing better than mine. It must be due to her level 4 strength. The attributes of level 4 wizards were stronger than lower level wizards. So it's normal for her to withstand the pressure without breaking a sweat. Meanwhile, the Wizard Lion observed everyone's facial expressions. He sees some weak-willed wizard already gave up fighting. Seeing that, a hint of disappointment flashes in his eyes. He immediately took the pressure back from them and focuses his gaze on others. From the last 2 simulation battles, he thought he understood everyone's pros and cons. But seeing the scene in front of him, he couldn't help but decide to re-evaluate some of the things. He had previously collected intel from various halls about special class students. And combined with the results of the simulation battle, he had evaluated seed wizards. But right now he feels it's not enough. Soon his assumption turns true. More than half of seed wizards gave up resistance. When the pressure was cancelled, they were gasping for breath. The Wizard Lion's face turned dark. The results were worse than he had expected. His gaze fell on Vincent Carey. A hint of surprise flashes in his eyes. He knows that kid got a breakthrough recently, but he is doing far better than other level 3 wizards. Now he got another crucial piece of information. Apart from powerful magic, Vincent got a good physique as well. Wizard Lion notes down some of the valuable information in his heart. Next, he turned to Lara White. She is not even breaking a sweat. Undoubtedly, the level 4 wizards can withstand his pressure easily. So he wasn't surprised that much. After 1 minute, apart from 6 level 4 wizards including Lara White, and a few level 3 wizards, every other seed wizard gave up resistance. Wizard Lion looked at the remaining seed wizards with an appreciative look. More than a level 4 wizard, he looked at the level 3 wizard with a hint of approval. A few seconds later, everyone lies down on the ground including Vincent Carey. Now only level 4 wizards were gritting their teeth. Seeing that, Wizard Lion slightly increased the pressure. Unlike other level 4 wizards, Lara White started to feel some difficulties. Like Vincent, she too had a recent breakthrough. So her attributes were nowhere near other level 4 wizards in the class. But she didn't want to give up just like that. She is a taboo wizard. She wants to hold on for a few more seconds. Phew, feeling that pressure was gone, I sighed in relief. Fortunately, my attributes were higher than an average level 3 wizard, which gave me enough time to perform well. Then I slowly got up from the ground while others gasped for their breath. Mentor Lion's sudden action stunned me, but I believed there must be a good reason behind this. My gaze then shifted toward the remaining wizard. The level 4 wizards are doing better, but seeing the sweat oozing from their forehead, I guess they are facing much more pressure now. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. Apart from my above-average attribute, I believe there are changes in my physique due to a slight progression in the sacred gravity physique. I don't know whether it played any role in resisting the pressure, but I have this vague feeling in my heart that once there is 100% awakening, then my overall attributes would have drastic improvements. But the snail speed progression tells me otherwise. At my current progression rate, the physique awakening would take a longer period. And I don't know how long? Shaking my head, I put behind these thoughts and shifted my attention back to the scene. Shortly after, the level 4 wizards gave up one by one, and Lara White is the second person to give up, which surprised many of the wizards present here. Lara? I muttered to myself. She is stronger than I had expected. We have only differences, otherwise there is a comparison between us. A couple of seconds later, the small game of Mentor Lion came to an end as the last level 4 wizard stopped resisting. Everyone then turned toward Mentor Lion. Even Maria quickly adjusted herself and got up from the ground. When everyone is standing on their feet, Wizard Lion's gaze swept past everyone. Seeing that everyone's expression looked better, a hint of approval flashes in his eyes. All right, this was just a small test. But sadly, everyone's performance is a bit average and I'm not impressed by it, he said in a cold tone. Hearing that everyone's face was discolored. Even the faces of level 4 wizards were not looking better. None of them had expected a harsh reply from their mentor. Wizard Lion didn't mind their expression. He continued to say further, the third trial is going to be special. Unlike the previous 2 simulation battles, you are going to face the third trial in a real body. Gasp! The students exclaimed in surprise. What happened? This came out of nowhere. The Outer House wizards are panicking. They can die in a simulation trial and nothing is going to happen in real life. But the third trial is different. If they suffer any gruesome injury, then it would cost a fortune to recover completely. And in the worst case, they will die in the third trial. For a while, some of the Outer House wizards started to regret it. Before Mentor Lion's complete explanation about the third trial, some of them started to imagine the worst-case scenario. Apart from level 4 wizards, everyone else had a gloomy expression on their faces. Meanwhile, a hint of expectation rose in my heart. Before coming here, I was hoping to hear about the next trial. Fortunately, the Mentor Lion announcement came as a pleasant surprise. Now I can take back my precious first position. My eyes flickered with a slight glint. At the same time, Lara White's eyes flickered with fighting intent. The trial came at the right time. She already made up her mind to challenge Vincent. And this trial gives her another opportunity to keep her rank. Not only her but other level 4 wizards' eyes also shone with bright light. For some reason the top 2 positions are held by taboo and sub-taboo hall members, which made other halls lose their face. But right now the third trial gives them a good opportunity to make their name. Seeing the eager expression on everyone's faces, Wizard Lion nodded his head. He said, in a few days the third trial is going to happen in the magic forest of our academy. Like other trials, it is going to be a survival trial as well. If any of you wanted to leave, you can raise your hand right now, he added further. Wizard Lion's words fell like a thunderclap in everyone's ears. But none of them dared to speak against the announcement. Right after many wizards raised their hands to quit, the majority of them were the Outer House wizards. They already imagined the worst-case scenario in their mind. If they suffer any injury, it would take a long time to recover. Compared to it, they can easily sit out and practice quietly in their hall. And it will be a matter of a few weeks before they break through. All the seed wizards present here were blessed with good magic talent. The special class is just an option. So they don't want to risk their lives. On top of it, the academy is yet to explain the motive for the special class, which also caused many doubts to arise. Wizard Lion didn't jump to a conclusion quickly. He gave everyone some time to decide. 5 minutes later, more than half of the seed wizards held up their hands high. Seeing that, a hint of disappointment flashes in Wizard Lion's eyes. He feels glad that he asked for their opinion. Otherwise, the causality rate will be higher. Now his eyes set on the rest of them. Right now, apart from the whole Outer House wizards and a few of the Inner House wizards, the rest of the Inner House wizards chose to participate in the trial. And the number is 20, which is pitifully low compared to the overall class strength of 50 students. Okay, from now onwards 20 of you will remain in a special class, and the rest of them can leave, a Wizard Lion said in a cold tone. Gasp! Right after his words, a small commotion broke out. Seeing that, he didn't give them any opportunity to speak and released his majestic pressure. PFFF. Some of the rude Outer House wizards suffered injury from the pressure. Seeing that the dissatisfied voices quieted down all of a sudden, they have made their decision and now they have quit the class without making any noise. Meanwhile, seeing the thunderous method of Mentor Lion, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. One thing is clear, the academy wants to develop elite class wizards. And it is impossible to have weak-willed wizards around here. Anything can happen in a trial, even in the worst case wizards might die. But some of these wizards don't want to face such a challenge. A lot of interest riding on them. Like family interests and others. Seeing everyone's decision, I sneered inside. If they want to develop in a short time, they have to take some risks. But these people are not even ready for that. Many questions appeared in my heart. It has a lot to do with the academy's motive. What do they intend to do after developing the elite squad? Looking at Mentor Lion's face, I don't think he will answer anytime soon. I can only raise my strength silently. Meanwhile, Wizard Lion waited for the wizards to leave. After a few minutes, only 20 of them remained. Seeing that he didn't want to waste any more time. Okay, the rest of you have made your decision. But don't worry, for the third trial there will be some rewards. I'll tell you the exact date of the trial tomorrow. So now you can leave, a Wizard Lion said. Hearing that, I raised my eyebrows in confusion. What's that all? I thought he would explain about the trials. Looks like he won't tell anything before the start of the trial. But I'm not helpless, I can ask my senior sister about this. I'm sure she knows about the magic forest. Then everyone walked out of the special class. After exiting the phone booth, I walked towards Sub-Taboo Hall. After a couple of seconds of walking, I stopped my movements. Because I see a group of wizards recognize my identity. and one of them blocked my way intentionally. "Here we go," I mumbled under my breath. This is something I had expected previously. So far the hostile wizards didn't make any move against me. But this is the time. And I wasn't surprised at all. Senior sister warned me right after the battle tower trials. Apart from the elemental hall, the bloodline hall is also looking for trouble. So looking at these people's facial expressions and mana breath, I think 5 of them were inner house wizards from the bloodline hall. After gaining some clarity, I decided to see what they were going to do. If I retreat now, it will set a bad example. And then people will start questioning the reputation of the subtaboo hall. Besides, I'm now an inner house wizard. There is no need to worry too much. And the academy won't stay silent if there is any breach of rules. When my thoughts became clear, I let out a small smirk before continuing my walk. My sudden response stunned everyone. Seeing me coming, the face of a bloodline wizard turned ugly. Academy. I walked past a group of bloodline wizards and heard a crackling sound from behind. Ignoring their behavior, I walked towards the subtaboo hall. Meanwhile, the bloodline wizards' hearts were boiling with anger, and one of them was getting out of control. Others quickly reminded him of the rules and said, "Don't do anything stupid. If you attack him now, our hall will suffer consequences. Any negative news is not good for our hall." Seeing Vincent disappear, the group left quickly. Subtaboo hall. After completing the verification, I walked into the room and couldn't help but think about the behavior of the bloodline wizards. After the elemental hall wizards, the bloodline wizards tested my limits, and I wondered who would come next. I sat on the sofa and texted Sister Carolina. A few minutes later, Carolina Slate entered the hall. Seeing Vincent's gloomy expression, she stopped and asked, "Oh, what happened?" I told her what happened in the special class, and she was surprised to learn that many seed wizards had quit. She was also shocked to learn about the 3rd trial happening in the magic forest, as it was dangerous even for core house wizards. She asked, "So do you want to know about the magic forest?" I nodded and she explained the magic forest is an old resource point for our academy. Except for resource-related tasks, no one is allowed to trespass. I asked what was so dangerous about the magic forest, and Carolina replied, "There are some strange monsters living in the magic forest and some areas are very toxic." She suggested checking the information in the library. Sigh, I let out a small sigh and then changed the topic. "Sister, I met a group of people from the bloodline hall," I said. Carolina's expression changed quickly. "Did they do anything to you?" she asked with concern. No, I reassured her. "But I know about their reputation for being outrageous and uncontrollable." "Yes, that's true," Carolina nodded. "Just like the elemental hall, the bloodline hall wants you to make a move so they can attack you with a legitimate reason. But don't worry," she continued. "The senior members of our subtaboo hall have a lot of power, and the bloodline wizards wouldn't dare openly bully you, or they'll face retaliation." I felt relieved by Carolina's words and was even more eager to meet the senior members of our hall. "The atmosphere inside the subtaboo hall is good," I said. "Maybe it's because there are fewer wizards in our hall compared to others, so there's a strong sense of unity and belonging." After a few more minutes of conversation with Carolina, I said goodbye and went to the library. Meanwhile, the group of lackeys returned to the bloodline hall. The meeting space of the bloodline hall is quite large. There are many outer house wizards are chatting among their friends. When the group entered the hall, they immediately walked past the outer house wizards and walked into another spacious room, where the inner house bloodline wizards were sitting and talking. No outer house wizards can enter the area of the inner house unless they are allowed. The group immediately found their head among the various people. Their appearance immediately attracted the attention of their leader, Clifton Cox, the level 4 bloodline wizard. He has the blood of an ancient golden lizard running through his body. His bloodline power influences his entire appearance. He has long golden hair and eyes. He appears to be 6 foot tall in height. He has a well-built body and chiseled chin. He wore a typical Academy Red Mage robe on top of his shirt. But strangely, he is not the center of attraction. He is one among many bloodline wizards in the inner house who got the ancient bloodline in their body. When the group appeared in front of him, Clifton observed their reactions. Seeing that none of them were looking good, he immediately inquired about the details. The group of wizards immediately spoke about their small confrontation with Vincent Carey. After a few minutes, Clifton signaled them to leave. But the gloomy look on his face didn't disappear. He just wanted to test Vincent's character. Now he knows that the other party is not a cowardly cat. He made up his mind to come up with a new plan. He is also aware of the elemental hall's actions. He He wants to tarnish the face of Subtabu Hall before those elemental guys. Thinking about the reward for his work, a hint of longing appeared in his eyes. Someone offered him a bloodline optimization potion, which is crucial for his level 5 breakthrough. So there is no way he would back away from this chance. Time passed in a blink of an eye. After gathering enough information from the library, I left the library and walked back to my room. The following day, I started my daily routine after getting freshened up. The upcoming 2 days will give me enough time to raise my attributes further, which will give me enough strength to deal with whatever monsters hiding in the magic forest. I sat cross-legged on the mat and started to practice the meditation method. Time passed in a blink of an eye. I opened my eyes 3 hours later, feeling the stream of energy coursing through my body. I knew my attributes have gone one step further. The next moment, a satisfied expression appeared on my face. Then I decided to check my status. System, show me the status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 8%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color, pale orange. Strength, 263. Speed, 265. Stamina, 263. Vitality, 265. Intelligence, LVL.3, 38. Soul power, LVL.3, 37. Mental power, LVL.3, 37. Constitution LVL.3, 37. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 8%. Spell models, 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available, 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of me, and I couldn't help but smile at the sight of the increase in my attribute points. I don't know why, but the steady growth gives me a sense of relief. Most wizards rely on magical treasures and potions for their growth, but for me, the gravity arc mental method is enough. After closing the panel, I decided to go to the treasure hall to buy some life-saving items. The experience of getting hit by a magic crow is still fresh in my mind, so I don't want to face a similar surprise attack again. A few minutes later, I left the room and walked toward the dining hall. On the way, I met Senior Carolina and we both walked toward the dining hall together. When we entered the hall, I felt the malicious gaze on me again. I turned my head and saw a wizard with golden hair. I mumbled under my breath, Bloodline Wizard. System, show me the target status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Target's name, Clifton Cox. Magic power, Golden Lizard, Bloodline power. Mage level, level 4 limiter. Mental method, Bloodline inheritance. Core, Bloodline core. Mana power, 700. Talent, top bottom. Color, pale orange. Strength, 353. Speed, 355. Stamina, 352. Vitality, 354. Intelligence, LVL.4, 32. Soul power, LVL.4, 31. Mental power, LVL.4, 33. Constitution LVL.4, 34. Spells, 1. Golden Claw, 2. Explosive Punch, 3. Tail Attack, 4. Venomous Saliva. My eyes quickly scanned the details and I discovered that the person was a level 4 Bloodline Wizard. A look of caution appeared on my face. I wondered if this had something to do with yesterday's events. Ignoring the hostile gaze, I walked with Senior Carolina toward the counter. Meanwhile, Clifton Cox sneered inwardly. He expected Vincent to look away, but instead, Vincent met his gaze head-on. Clifton felt uncomfortable for a moment but quickly regained his composure. He had already come up with a plan. He couldn't make a direct move against Vincent at the moment, but he knew a way to fight Vincent without breaking any rules. Posting an official challenge would do the trick, he thought, his eyes glinting with a cold light. Before taking any action, he decided to consult with the senior members. Meanwhile, Carolina had already noticed the presence of the bloodline wizards, but she didn't want any commotion to occur right now, so she remained silent. After having breakfast, I walked to the mission hall. Carolina was also on a mission. After passing many rooms, I reached the hall and saw mission tasks displayed on the screen. There was a third trial in a couple of days, so I decided to pick a task close to the academy. One task caught my attention. Task: guard the treasure pavilion for one night. Reward: 500 battle tower points, 10 mid-grade mana stones. Location: the Dragon City. The Dragon City was close to the academy, and the mission would take only one night. It was perfect for my current situation. But when I saw the reward, I paused. The battle tower points were expected, but the mid-grade mana stones were unexpected. I guess the mission would be challenging. I decided to accept the task and headed to the desk. After registering my name, I left the hall and went back to my room. The mission description was now clearer. The treasure pavilion would be active tonight, and the goods would arrive during the night as well. That's why they needed the protection of a level 3 wizard. The Dragon City was generally safe, but the treasure pavilion wanted extra security. I made arrangements and left for the mission. On the way, I encountered the usual prying gazes. I frowned and quickened my pace to reach the transportation area. I chose a flying car instead of a flying beast carriage. After entering the office, I requested the flying vehicle and a car appeared. I told the driver my destination and the car quickly left the academy's airspace. I sighed in relief as the annoying people saw me getting in. But I didn't know which hall they were from. My eyes glimmered with a cold gleam as I jotted down the faces of the hostile wizards from both the Elemental Hall and the Bloodline Hall. I record these new hostile wizards to memory as well. In the blink of an eye, the flying car arrived at Dragon City an hour later. I instructed the driver to land at the nearest platform. Swishing sounds, the driver guided the flying car toward the destination. Through the window, I observed various flying vehicles of varying shapes and sizes entering the city. My gaze then shifted to the many towering glass buildings. I wondered what purpose these structures served. The flying car smoothly landed on the platform, and I stepped out of the car. I quickly located the treasure pavilion on my map, which was located a short distance down the street. I was relieved to be wearing a magic cloak over my shirt, which would conceal me from prying eyes. After taking a quick look around, I hastened away from the area. I have a nagging feeling that completing the mission will be challenging. To calm myself, I set off to the location. On the way, I see a lot of people on the street. Shops on both sides are busy with shoppers. If it weren't for their wizard robes, I would have thought they were all normal humans. I can't help but think of my hometown. An image of my parents flashes in my mind. I don't know if it's safe to contact them or not. Elder John may have some information. Furthermore, I'm uncertain about the Dark League. After the level 6 wizards attack, I doubt they have given up on their mission to kill me. They are probably waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Sighing, I pick up my pace a bit. The academy events almost made me forget about the real threat outside. Compared to the Dark League, the antics of the wizard halls seem insignificant. I must stay alert to the Dark League's movements. I have a feeling I will soon encounter another member. As I walked, I detected the mana of many powerful individuals on the street, which prompted me to exercise caution when passing by the pedestrians. One wizard, wearing a golden mage robe, caught my attention. I quickly recognized the background of the wizard as the academy attire of the Royal Force Hall, meaning this person was a student there. To avoid attracting the attention of the unknown wizard, I looked away. However, it troubled me that he is headed in the same direction as I was. To ensure that he went ahead of me, I slowed down my pace intentionally. System, show me the target status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Target's name, Pete Brown. Magic power, long steel sword. Wizard type, weapon wizard. Mage level, level 4 limiter. Core, weapon core. Mana power, 700. Talent, top bottom. Color, pale orange. Strength, 313. Speed, 315. Stamina, 316. Vitality, 312. Intelligence, LVL.416. Soul power, LVL.412. Mental power, LVL.414. Constitution LVL.413. Mental method, Royal Sword Art, Earth grade. Spells: 1. Sky slash. 2. Vertical cleave. 3. Horizontal cleave. 4. Deadly stab. A status panel appeared in front of me. I frowned as I looked at it. The person had just broken through recently. Relieved to find out he is a weapon wizard, I sighed and closed the panel. I continued my walk. As I approached the Treasure Pavilion building, I saw the Royal Force wizard ahead of me, entering the building casually. Surprised, I wondered if he was going to purchase something. I followed him into the building full of doubt. When I entered the building, I saw the Royal Force wizard speaking to the staff. I walked up to the desk, and as I got closer, I overheard some surprising words. The wizard was here for a guard mission too. My presence caught the attention of the staff and the wizard. The staff asked me about my purpose for the visit. Ignoring the Royal Force wizard's gaze, I explained my mission. The wizard was taken aback. I couldn't help but laugh inwardly at his expression. However, when I revealed my wizard level to the staff, I received a disdainful look from the Royal Force wizard. The staff arranged a separate room for us to spend our time until the night guard mission. The wizard was assigned the room next to mine. I couldn't help but shake my head at his behavior and sneered at the lack of humility from the Royal Force wizard. I entered the access code to open my room, and the door creaked open as I leisurely walked inside. Meanwhile, wizards from various halls left the transportation area and conveyed messages back to their respective halls. Unlike Vincent's guess, the group was not from one hall but a collaboration of 2 or more. They quickly shared the information about Vincent that they had gathered, and soon the news spread rapidly. Those who were after Vincent was especially elated to hear the news. At the Bloodline Hall, Clifton Cox was chatting with friends when one of his lackeys appeared with a haggard expression. Clifton immediately stopped talking and inquired about the details. Upon learning that Vincent had left the academy for a mission, Clifton got up from his seat, his eyes shining with excitement. He looked forward to officially issuing a challenge, but there was some hesitation in his heart as he didn't know much about Vincent, other than that he was a sub-taboo gravity wizard. However, the next moment, Clifton's expression became serious. He looked at the lackey and asked, "Who else knows?" Upon hearing that the Beast Hall and Transformation Hall were aware of the news, Clifton's eyes flickered with a cold glint. He was well aware of the motives of these 2 halls. Clifton is satisfied with the wizards who appear to be unhappy with Vincent's presence as it could damage their interests. However, he doesn't want Vincent to stay inside the academy for a long time, as fights between wizards inside the academy are strictly forbidden. So he decides to leave and test Vincent's strength during an official challenge. When Clifton arrives at the mission hall, he is surprised to see many top figures from different halls, including Eugene Beard from Beast Hall and Roberto Noel from Transformation Hall. Clifton, being an elite wizard with many followers, recognizes these figures and walks toward the front desk. As he approaches, he overhears the wizards from Beast Hall inquiring about Vincent. The next moment, Clifton's face turned dark as the worst thing had happened. The people were after Vincent's information. Clifton didn't know that Eugene Beard and Roberto Noel were already aware of his presence. Clifton quickly obtained the information from the front desk staff and learned that Vincent had gone to the Dragon City, causing a hint of relief to flash in his eyes. Not wanting to waste any more time, he promptly left the hall. Right after Clifton's departure, the wizards from the Beast Hall and Transformation Hall also left the mission hall. Everyone now knows about Vincent's task, and it will only be a matter of time before the news reaches other halls. Treasure Pavilion. Sitting on the sofa, I'm browsing some news online. Especially since this is my first visit to the city, considering this is the capital city of our country, I can gain a lot of exposure here. If not for the mission, I would have gone out to explore the city right now. While browsing, I came across a lot of interesting news. Especially the news about the other 2 academies, Weapon Palace and Royal Force Hall. The names of a few popular wizards in these 2 academies were trending. But when I went through the article, some interesting information caught my eye. Most of the popular wizards hail from powerful mage families in the city. The mage families in the city were extremely influential and powerful. They are nothing against the 3 behemoth academies. But the mage families can influence local forces to some extent. And with such a reputation, these popular wizards can easily gain some good followers. I don't know whether it's okay for me to do the same or not. If I gain some followers, then I have to take care of their resources, which is currently impossible for me to do so. But the mage families can easily do that. The starting point of the wizards was unfair. Only after reaching advanced rank wizard can I gain some level playing field. Then my gaze coincidentally shifted to the room right next to me. Pete Brown, I mumbled under my breath. I frowned. Before coming here, I thought I was the one who had been given such a mission. But the Treasure Pavilion had given tasks to the Royal Force Academy as well. Is this what people mean by playing safe games? My eyes flickered with a slight glint. But what's bothering me is the absence of wizards from the Weapon Palace. If my assumption is right, then sooner or later the wizard from the Weapon Palace will arrive. Then I shifted my attention back to the online topics. Time passed. After browsing some articles, I spent the rest of the time reading wizard books. And I avoided going outside before the start of the mission, because I have this feeling that some trouble would come if I went outside. So it's good for me to stay here for the time being. Besides, the Treasure Pavilion won't let unwanted people come in, which is also good for me. Meanwhile, a few flying cars left the airspace of the Yellow River Academy one after another. The wizards in the flying cars were separated into 3 groups. Clifton Cox from the Bloodline Hall took the lead to the exit, followed by Eugene Beard from the Beast Hall and Roberto Noel from the Transformation Hall. Each of them left the academy with their followers in search of Vincent Carey. 2 hours later, Clifton Cox's flying car landed on the platform in Dragon City. After stepping out, he immediately went towards the Treasure Pavilion with his followers. He doesn't want to waste time, because he knows wizards from the other 2 halls were on their way here. And everyone's motive is to confront Vincent Carey. There are some things they can't do inside the academy. But here in the capital city, there were no such harsh regulations. Small clashes were often happening in the city. Unless they do some evil inside the city, the authorities will turn a blind eye to their actions. Because no one wants to offend the wizards from the academy over small skirmishes. But this small skirmish is exactly what he wants. Soon, the group disappears from the platform area. Right after they left, a few flying cars landed on the platform a few minutes later. These people are none other than wizards from the Beast Hall and Transformation Hall. Several minutes later, the 3 groups from the Yellow River Academy surrounded the Treasure Pavilion. But none of them took the initiative to enter the shop. Not everyone is dumb. People know that the Treasure Pavilion has its guards. It's not wise to barge in directly. At this time, Clifton snorted coldly in his heart. He is currently looking at the high-story glass building, the Treasure Pavilion, from a nearby shop. Eugene Roberto? These 2 starts were huge stumbling blocks in my way, Clifton mumbled under his breath. Seeing these 2, he felt a sense of urgency in his heart. He doesn't want them to startle the snake. If Vincent finds something wrong, then he will abandon the mission. His eyes flickered with a cold glint. He made a firm decision in his heart. Then he turned towards his lackeys and instructed, "You guys go and monitor the movements of the people from the Beast Hall and the Transformation Hall." Hearing that, the lackeys immediately disappeared. Similarly, Eugene Beard and Roberto Noel did the same. They were too aware of Clifton's presence. None of them wanted to alert Vincent Carey in any way. Since Vincent came for the night mission, all of them decided to wait patiently until then. Time passed in the blink of an eye. The news about Vincent's mission reached some important ears. But after knowing 3 halls were staring at Vincent Carey, some of them decided to wait and watch the fun. Because they got a lot of eyes in Dragon City. So the actions of the 3 halls won't go unnoticed in their eyes. Treasure Pavilion. A Mage is speaking to the front desk staff. Sean Horton, a level 4 fire sword wizard from the Sword Hall of the Weapon Palace. The staff arranged the room next to Pete Brown after confirmation. Seeing that all 3 of them were now in the Treasure Pavilion for the mission, the staff decided to inform the higher-ups. A few minutes later, the people from the management sighed in relief. Their Treasure Pavilion is going to receive important goods tonight. The goods' value is immeasurable. It has a lot of magic artifacts and potions. To safely transfer the goods into the underground chamber, they need heavy protection. If it were normal time, their guards would be enough to provide security. But a few days ago they received intel that some rogue wizards were eyeing their goods. And they are planning to do something tonight. Such news came out of the blue at that time. So to prepare for the worst-case scenario, they sought the help of 3 big academies. Fortunately, the wizards from the 3 respective academies were already staying in their shops. Now they hope that everything goes well tonight. Time passed in the blink of an eye. 8 p.m. When the entire city is glowing with bright light. The Treasure Pavilion is strictly guarded. But what they don't know is that many dark silhouettes entered the city. From their appearance and speed, they look a lot more professional than the rogue wizards. After entering the city, the dark silhouettes moved toward the Treasure Pavilion. While this is happening, the management team is waiting for the goods to arrive. As per the schedule, the goods will arrive in half an hour. But still, the higher-ups were getting impatient. They don't know when the rogue wizards will pop up. The higher-ups then told the staff to inform the three wizards. A few minutes later, I left the room after receiving the message from the front desk staff. Looking at the time, I realized it was time for the guard mission. The goods carrier might be close to the city. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. When I'm pondering, I hear the door behind me open. Turning around, I see Pete Brown closing the door. But right after seeing me, he let out a cold snort. But my gaze went past him and fell on the next room. "Someone is opening the door," I mumbled under my breath. Creak! A young wizard walked out after opening the door. Looking at his attire, my eyes flickered with a slight glint. My earlier assumption came true. Weapon Palace. At this time, Pete Brown blurted out in surprise after noticing the new wizard's presence. "System, show me the target status panel," I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Target's name, Sean Horton. Magic power fire sword. Wizard type, weapon wizard. Mage level, level 4 limiter. Core, weapon core. Mana power 700. Talent, top bottom. Color pale orange. Strength, 331. Speed, 335. Stamina, 336. Vitality, 332. Intelligence, LVL.4, 31. Soul power, LVL.4, 32. Mental power, LVL.4, 34. Constitution LVL.4, 33. Mental method fire sword method, earth grade. Spells, 1 fire beam. 2 mountain slash. 3 fire slash. 4 violent cleave. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Looking at the status, my eyes flickered with a slight glint. Seeing another sword wizard, I didn't know how to react for a while. Then my gaze immediately scanned the rest of the details. There is no difference between the two except that the new guy is a fire elemental sword wizard. I recorded the names Peter Brown and Sean Horton in my memory. I believe interacting with these two individuals would bring no benefit. I noticed disdain in Peter Brown's eyes, then after glancing at Sean Horton, I walked towards the front desk. Peter Brown felt familiar magic from Sean, who he recognized as a sword wizard. This made him relax his brow. The Royal Force Academy and the Weapon Palace have non-hostile relations, so Peter approached Sean to greet him. Sean was initially surprised to see wizards from two different academies at the same location, but he soon realized the treasure pavilion was behind it. A gloomy glint appeared in Sean's eyes, which Peter quickly noticed. Ahem, I understand your thoughts, but the treasure pavilion is a crucial partner for all three major academies in our city, so they can't afford to neglect any of us, said Peter with a laugh. Sean frowned but chose not to respond. He then looked to see the wizard from the Yellow River Academy but couldn't find him. So he ignored Peter and walked past him to the front desk. Pete's eyes lit up with surprise. The Weapon Palace wizard appeared unusual. He then shook his head and followed behind. I had already arrived at the front desk, where I saw many guards standing around. Most of them were level 3 wizards. I nodded in approval, pleased to see that they would provide security rather than serve as cannon fodder. As I scanned the area, I spotted 3 older men dressed formally. My gaze was drawn to the rings and jewelry around their necks, which I recognized as magical artifacts. These people were wealthy, and their serious expressions told me they were likely high-ranking members of the Treasure Pavilion. By the time Sean and Peter Brown arrived, we had already attracted attention. The staff approached the older men and spoke to them in hushed tones. Before I could speak, Pete and Sean stepped forward to meet with them. I raised my eyebrows slightly, wondering why they were in such a hurry. Why so eager? I muttered under my breath. The 3 elders were the leaders of the Treasure Pavilion. After hearing the report from their staff, they looked at each other and then at Pete Brown. Usually, the person giving the mission would provide more information before it begins, but the situation at the Treasure Pavilion is more serious than they anticipated. They are uncertain if a level 4 wizard's combat ability is sufficient. Their strange expressions made it clear to me that something was wrong. At the same time, Pete asked for more information. One of the elders, with a long white beard, spoke in a serious tone. According to the latest intelligence, the rogue wizards have entered the city and are headed towards our pavilion. Pete was surprised at too fast. He couldn't help but look at the elder. He thought this information should have reached them sooner. Feeling Pete's gaze, the elder felt displeased but didn't show it. He responded, "Young wizard Pete, we were also taken aback by the news, so don't misinterpret our expressions." Sean Horton interrupted the conversation and asked, "How many are coming towards the pavilion?" The old man with the long beard sighed and answered, "Young wizard Sean, unfortunately, we don't know the details. Our only task is to protect the pavilion." He added, "We expect 3 of you to guard the underground chamber and leave the rest to our guards." The 2 other old men echoed the same opinion. Hearing their conversation, I felt something was off, thinking it was too easy for rogue wizards to enter the capital city undetected. I believe there was a hidden agenda. I think it's better to avoid any mishaps and leave immediately after the mission is completed. I didn't want to get involved in the affairs of the treasure pavilion. The old man with a long beard instructed the staff to guide the young wizards to the underground facility. I then followed along, deep in thought, but realized I would not get any answers from the treasure pavilion's higher-ups. I have to patiently wait and guard the chamber. The gazes of Pete and Sean were unfriendly and they kept their distance from me. I smiled indifferently. Then we descended to the underground facility, which was filled with rooms and metal doors. Sean Horton said, "Treasure rooms," with a hint of greed in his eyes. I was surprised by Sean's sudden words, and after scanning the rooms, I realized that only one room was unlocked. I think it was for the goods that would arrive shortly. Pete Brown said, "For this one big room, 2 people are enough to protect it," with a snort. The staff remained silent out of fear, but I knew that Pete was indirectly targeting them. Ignoring Pete's words, the speaker walked into the big, empty room. The walls were heavily built to protect the treasure. As long as they deterred outside forces, the goods would be safer. The staff quickly left the underground facility due to the tension he saw between the academy wizards. Meanwhile, Pete Brown noticed the staff's departure and turned to the wizard from the Yellow River Academy. "Hey, what's your name again?" he asked. Sean Horton also turned towards me. "Hi, I'm Vincent Carey," I replied with a smile, though they didn't know much about me. I decided to keep my knowledge of the sub-taboo power to myself. Pete grew impatient and decided to complete the mission alone for the potential benefits. He expressed his greed through his eyes. "Vincent, you're only a level 3 wizard, so it's best for you to guard the entrance," said Pete with a smile. He then turned to Sean. "We, as level 4 wizards, can easily handle the rogue wizards. So, let's not be hindered." "I agree," Sean added coldly, showing his disdain for lower-ranked wizards. Their words only fueled my inner anger and my eyes shone with determination. I know this is not the time for a fight. The mission's details are unclear, so it's best to proceed with caution for now. I responded with a smile and both parties relaxed. I stood at the entrance where I saw Pete and Sean discussing something. It was obvious they wanted more credit for the mission, but since I'm only level 3, I'm not eligible to join them. Shaking my head, I continued to wait. Pete and Sean decided to wait by the underground chamber's entrance as they believed this was a safer location to ambush the rogue wizards. The treasure pavilion's guards were standing in formation, waiting for the goods to arrive. The old man let out a sigh, muttering, "We were wrong. They're not after the goods, but our pavilion." He continued, "If they were after the goods, they would have taken them during the journey. But now the goods are close to their destination, and there's still no sign of the rogue wizards." The wizard groups from the Yellow River Academy were frustrated. They had been monitoring the treasure pavilion building all day with no sign of Vincent Carey leaving. Clifton Cox sighed, happy that the plans of the other 2 halls had also failed. He had no choice but to change his plan and confront Vincent on his way back to the academy, as causing a commotion at the treasure pavilion was not an option. After a moment of contemplation, Clifton decided to wait for Vincent's mission to end. Eugene Beard and Roberto Noel were also not in good spirits. They had expected to easily test Vincent Carey's limits, but he had not left the treasure pavilion. Unlike Clifton, they were not determined and had other commitments at the academy, so they gave up monitoring Vincent and left with their followers. Rogue wizards quickly surrounded the treasure pavilion, attracting the attention of the higher-ups. However, they couldn't intervene as the goods were yet to arrive. They waited patiently. An hour later, several flying beast carriages flew into view and caught the attention of wizards in the city. Upon seeing the symbol on the carriages, they realized they belonged to the treasure pavilion. The flying beasts reached the pavilion in the blink of an eye and slowly landed in front of the building, followed by other carriages stopping one after another. The atmosphere turned solemn as the long-bearded old man and 2 others appeared outside when the final flying beast carriage came to a halt. The old man instructed the guards to move. The treasure pavilion guards collected the goods while the rogue wizards watched in the shadows, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. A hoarse voice then gave them instructions to let the guards transfer the goods and attack when there was a signal. The rogue wizards acted as puppets, breaking out in a cold sweat as they followed the orders given. Meanwhile, the pavilion guards began to transfer the goods and other staff were moved to a safe room. The confrontation was imminent and was expected to be extremely severe. Treasure Pavilion. When the three of us were waiting for the goods to arrive, I heard loud footsteps. Right after that, I turned toward the entrance. The Treasure Pavilion guards entered the chamber carrying goods. They are coming here toward the empty room. Seeing that, I knew the time had arrived. Looking at the guards' solemn expressions, various thoughts come to mind. Before I could ask them questions, the other two quickly jumped to inquire about the details. After a few seconds, my eyes flickered with a slight glint. What's with the higher-ups? They knew the Treasure Pavilion was surrounded by rogue wizards. Yet they are casually transferring the goods as if nothing had happened. I feel a bad premonition. It's like the motive of the rogue wizards was something else. Now looking at the situation, I feel my assumption is true. They are not attacking and looting the goods. Instead, the rogue wizards are waiting for something to happen. I furrowed my eyebrows slightly. Then I see the guards returning after placing the goods in the empty room. And at the entrance, another batch of goods was carried by guards. Seeing that, I remained silent and stood patiently outside of the empty room. A few minutes later, boom! I hear a terrific sound occurring from the outside. Right after that, I see the guards running back to assist others. Vincent, looks like the rogue wizards were attacking. Our job is to stay here and protect the goods. If any of those rogues manage to come down, then we will take care of them, Pete Brown said in a solemn tone. Hearing that, I nodded my head in response. Outside, the rogue wizards jumped into attack as they received the signal. Like puppets, everyone's movements were coordinated. Ignoring the goods, the rogue wizards tried to infiltrate the building, but they met with pavilion guards' defense. Because of that, a quick battle broke out. The long-bearded old man and the other two higher-ups were looking for the man behind the scenes. From their experience, they too noticed the abnormality of the rogue wizards. And their intention to barge in right into the building made the higher-ups confirm something. These rogues are not after goods, the white-bearded old man said with a sigh. The other two higher-ups' faces darkened as well. At this time, an old man with rimming glasses said, "We need to find the instigator before it's too late." He is one of the three higher-ups. After the white-bearded old man, everyone listens to his words in second place. The third old man among them is slightly obese. He used to take care of the administration works. But for the current situation, he is supporting the actions of these two. He is poor in decision-making when it comes to dealing with a hostile situation. Meanwhile, boom! Fire spells were targeted at the building. The aftermath of the attack sent shockwaves and caused damage to the building structure. The pavilion guards are trying to block the way, but their attempts were turning futile. At proximity, it's difficult to stop the barrage of spells. Most of the spell attacks fell on the glass building, which in turn made the high-quality glass walls crack under the attack. If the situation continues, it will be a matter of time before the building collapses completely. Using the opportunity, some of the rogue wizards broke into the building and moved toward the underground chamber. Meanwhile, watching all of these, "Brother, who are you not taking them down?" The old man with rimmed glass asked out in confusion. He knows that among the three, the white-bearded old man is the strongest with wizard capability. If he takes action now, it will be a matter of time before rogue wizards disappear. The obese old man also looked confused, but he has immense trust in these two, so he silently listened. But the white-bearded old man was staring at the opposite side. The words of his colleagues have reached his ears, but he remained silent for a moment. Then, staring in dark, he replied, "Do you guys think there will be no retaliation if I take action now?" The old man with rimmed glass asked, "Brother, what do you mean?" "I think the attack is getting started. There will be another wave soon," the white-bearded old man added. The obese old man broke out in a cold sweat, but a look of understanding appeared on the old man's face with rimmed glasses. "Brother, who is so malicious against our treasure pavilion?" The old man with rimmed glasses asked back. "The situation is getting out of control. Only the brother can save the shop from the turmoil. Otherwise, everyone would be planted here along with the building." Sigh. The white-bearded old man let out a sigh. Right now, three of them are standing on the rooftop of the glass building. From here they can watch the movements in 4 directions. So many things are happening on the ground. The treasure pavilion guards can't control the situation if there is another wave. "Brother?" The old man with rimmed glasses asked again. He can't control his inner doubts. Someone has to clear his confusion. Otherwise, he can't remain silent. "Did you realize something? So much commotion is going on, but there is no sign of authority yet. What does it mean?" The white-bearded old man asked. The other two looked at each other, but the question brought them more anxiety than relief. Then before they could ask, The old man with a white beard said, "The government perhaps knows the identity of the enemy, but they choose to remain silent instead of sending the city guards to protect us." Which tells a lot. We can only wait for the storm to pass. Then we will have plenty of time to find out who is behind the scenes, he added further. Hearing that, the two old men nodded their heads in understanding. Inside the underground chamber, when I'm guarding in quietly, the sudden appearance of two rogue wizards startled everyone. Fire beam, Sean Horton released the spell. The next moment, a powerful heat beam shot at the coming rogue wizard. In a blink of an eye, the beam tears through the air and reaches the target in seconds. Boom! The rogue wizard was hit by the spell and got caught off guard completely. The rogue wizard is a level 3 wizard, but the fire spell attack of the level 4 wizard made him half dead. Seeing his companion injured, the other one didn't try to escape, rather he chose to confront him directly. But before he could release the spell to attack, "Deadly stab," Pete Brown uttered as he made a timely move on the rogue wizard. PFFF. The rogue wizard wasn't expecting the surprise attack. His mana core broke into pieces from the stab. With that, the rogue wizard breathes his final breath. Seeing the cold corpses of the rogue wizards, Sean and Pete ignored it completely. Seeing their actions, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. I didn't get the opportunity to make a move, but my attention shifted back to the outside situation. The appearance of the rogue wizard here in the underground chamber is not a good sign. This means the outside situation is worsening and the defense of the pavilion guards were not good either. A gloomy hint flashes in my eyes. Before coming here, I thought the guard mission would be a piece of cake. But right now so many things are happening. Shaking my head, I returned to the position. Sean and Pete looked at me with cold eyes. Seeing that, I furrowed my eyebrows. What happened? Are they planning something? My mouth curves into an arc. Sean and Pete's behavior didn't go unnoticed under my eyes. I know both of them are after credits. They want to do it more by killing as many rogues as possible. But if they intend to do anything stupid by going against me, then I don't mind stepping in and reaping the final benefits. My eyes flickered with a cold glint. Time passed. 30 minutes later after the intense battle, most of the pavilion guards have died outside, and the rest of them suffered gruesome injuries. The situation of the rogue wizards was not good either. The majority of them have died and those who broke into the building have died at the hands of the Academy wizards. The names of Pete Brown and Sean Horton were spreading among the staff after seeing the piled-up corpse in an underground chamber. When it comes to other Academy wizards, there is not much noise. Sean and Pete Brown were happy with their success. They believed the mission would come to an end after killing the rogue wizards. Meanwhile, on the rooftop, the three old men were in a bad mood. They are not happy at all by seeing current development, because they know the worst is yet to come. Suddenly, the white-bearded old man muttered in a solemn tone, "Second wave is coming." Treasure Pavilion. Underground chamber. Looking at the smiling faces of Pete Brown and Sean Horton, I laughed in my heart. Because they feel the mission is over. There will be more threats. But unfortunately, the higher-ups and staff of the Treasure Pavilion have yet to confirm the details. Unaware of it, these two already started celebrating. I shook my head in disappointment. 20 minutes later, boom! Again, the Treasure Pavilion was hit by terrific spell attacks. When the terrible sound reaches the underground chamber, my expression changes drastically. I knew it, I muttered to myself as I confirmed something. From the beginning, I guessed whoever it is they are not after goods at all. There is much more to it. But it's a pity the mission details didn't record such variables. If I had known it, I would have avoided this mission. Now such variables are popping up. I don't know who is the enemy behind the scenes. But one thing is certain, the Treasure Pavilion had offended someone. Outside. Meanwhile, the Treasure Pavilion is being attacked by the next wave of rogue wizards. But this time the power of the rogue wizards was stronger compared to before. The remaining Treasure Pavilion guards were finding it hard to survive, because the level of the rogue wizards was higher than before. Rooftop. Seeing the increase in the death toll of guards, the white-bearded old man said, "Who is it behind the scenes?" His eyes burst out with a cold glint. Because the rogue wizards in the second wave are powerful. They are level 4 wizards. Hardly anyone from the guards can fight against the level 4 wizards. The next moment, a firm determination appeared in his eyes. "You guys, let's go and kill all those rogue wizards," he uttered as the killing intent flashed in his eyes. Swish! Right after 3 of them disappeared from the top of the tower. The rogue wizards who were looking for a way to break into the building were all bombarded by powerful spells. The sudden attack caught everyone's attention. "Who is it?" the pavilion guard uttered in surprise. Out of nowhere, they received the backup suddenly. Listen up, all the pavilion guards retreat to the building and treat the wounded. We three will take care of the rogue wizards, the old man with rimmed glasses uttered in a cold tone. Hearing that, all the pavilion guards sighed in relief. Now the higher-ups have made the move. The situation will come to an end soon. On the other hand, the rogue wizards who were acting as per the command were all stopped suddenly like a puppet. Such a scene didn't go unnoticed under the eyes of a white-bearded old man. He then landed on the ground and grabbed the neck of one of the rogue wizards. Seeing that, the other two old men didn't disturb him. When the white-bearded old man probed the details, his pupils constrict. No soul. What kind of evil witchcraft is this? The white-bearded old man cried in his heart. He knew this kind of sorcery is very evil. He had never expected the wizard behind the scene to be this evil. Before he could explain this news to his colleagues standing beside him, he suddenly felt someone staring at him in the dark. Boom! The rogue wizard blasts into pieces in front of everyone's gazes. This? The old man with rimmed glasses and pupils shrank. He knew the rogue wizard had blown out himself. But the action was too sudden. Even they couldn't find the changes. Swish! 3 more dark silhouettes appeared out of thin air and landed on the ground. The next moment, the rest of the rogue wizard started to move. The white-bearded old man's face turned ugly. He thought that the wizard behind the scene had arrived. But looking at the coordination of the people in front of him, he knew other soulless guys had arrived. Swish! Before he could do something, the dark silhouette made the move. Right after that, a battle broke out between the higher-ups and rogue wizards. The appearance of the 3 new rogue wizards broke the balance, because 3 of them were level 5 wizards. Swish! The lingering hope left in the hearts of pavilion guards vanished. Now they have no choice other than to fight the remaining rogues. The rogue wizards entered the building within a few minutes. The white-bearded old man witnessed such a scene. His heart is boiling in anger. But he can't do anything at this moment, because his movement was blocked by the rogues. Meanwhile, inside the underground chamber, Pete Brown and Sean Horton readied themselves to ambush. Seeing that, I too remained in my position. Swish! When the rogue wizard stepped inside, both released spells one after another. Bang! Bang! The rogue groups were caught off guard, and they have suffered a slight injury. Such a scene startled the 3 of us. Level 4, I said in a loud tone. My words made Sean's thoughts clear. He acted after Pete, but 2 of them were not enough to block these rogues. One of them slipped away and rushed in my direction. Seeing that, I decided to act. But before I could cast the spell, I see him attacking the locked room. What? A look of bewilderment appeared on my face. The next second, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. What is he after? I mumbled under my breath. Swish! I disappeared from the spot and appeared right next to him. Gravity blast. I pointed my fingers at his forehead. The rogue wizard was startled by my appearance. He ignored me because of my level. But right now he is going to pay the price for it. A wisp of gravity power released from my finger and shot at its forehead. This all happened in a blink of an eye. The gravity power penetrated the opponent's forehead. The next moment, his pupil lost its color. His body dropped down to the ground. Dude! Seeing the cold corpse, Pete Brown was shocked to the core. He looked at the corpse and then looked toward the wiry wizard again. Wiry, Yellow River Academy. He didn't know how the rogue had died, but it's related to the wiry wizard Vincent. Sean was also greatly surprised by the scene. Does he know how hard it is to kill a level 4 wizard? Especially to do an instant kill, which is extremely difficult. Both quickly changed their views about Vincent Carey. At the same time, I frowned, because before killing I felt his gaze was weird. Like the rogue wizard was almost not real. To confirm it, I turned toward one of the rogues who is fighting Sean. System, scan the target. I set to the system in mind. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Target's name, puppet number 24. Magic power, evil knife. Wizard type, weapon wizard. Mage level, level 4 limiter. Core, weapon core. Mana power 500. Talent, double middle. Color distinct green. Strength, 321. Speed, 324. Stamina, 327. Vitality, 323. Intelligence, LVL.4, 21. Soul power, LVL.4, 25, enslaved. Mental power, LVL.4, 27. Constitution LVL.4, 23. Mental method, shared evil knife art, advanced grade. Spells, 1, evil slash. 2. Evil stab. 3. Poison cut. 4. Soul cut. A row of information appeared in front of me. But after seeing the details, my pupils shrink. Puppet, my heart set off storms. No wonder I felt weird. The rogue's gaze was impure without a soul. What kind of puppetry wizard path is this? So scary? The rogue's soul was completely enslaved. Then my gaze fell on his magic spell. The first 3 seem ordinary. But when my gaze fell on the last spell, a cold shiver went down my spine. I heard that magic deals with the soul are also considered taboo. Then my gaze fell on the other rogue wizard. I want to confirm whether other rogue wizards have similar methods. System, scan the target. I set to the system in mind. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Target's name, puppet number 11. Magic power, red flame. Wizard type, flame elemental wizard. Mage level, level 4 limiter. Core, fire elemental core. Mana power, 600. Talent, middle top. Color, deep green. Strength, 311. Speed, 314. Stamina, 316. Vitality, 313. Intelligence, LVL.4, 16. Soul power, LVL.4, 15. Enslaved. Mental power, LVL.4, 17. Constitution, LVL.415. Mental method, red flame art, advanced grade. Spells, 1. Red flame burst. 2. Red flame chain. 3. Red flame wall. 4. Red soul chain. Right after, a row of information appeared before my eyes. Seeing that, this time rogue wizard statuses were different. A hint of relief flashes in my eyes. It was not as exaggerated as I thought. But my gaze stopped on his spell attack. Because one of the flame spells is related to the soul. My eyes flickered with a slight glint. Is there any connection between these 2 spells? Dragon City, Treasure Pavilion. As time passed, several rogue wizards started to enter the pavilion building in great numbers. Whoever was behind the scene was clearly after something. But unfortunately, 3 old men from the pavilion were pushed to the back foot side. They were blocked by the 3 level 5 rogue wizards. Even the appearance of one more wizard will cause further damage. The white-bearded old man's eyes flickered with a slight glint. This situation can't continue further. 3 of them failed to gauge the unknown enemy's bottom line. Considering the fact they are outnumbered, the white-bearded old man decided to do something. The thing was supposed to be used in the worst-case scenario. But if he chooses to delay it anymore, the consequence would be disastrous. Meanwhile, at an isolated place located outside of the Dragon City border, inside a wooden hut, an old wizard is experimenting on human corpses. Looking at the rotten costume of the corpses, it's visible that the attire belongs to the royal city guards of the Dragon City. Suddenly, the old wizard put the instruments aside and walked back to a nearby room to contact someone. The person is none other than an evil wizard behind the scenes who is currently attacking the treasure pavilion. When the communication was established, while looking at his watch, the old wizard asked in a deep voice, "Have you got that thing?" After a few seconds, a voice that was neither a completely male nor female voice replied, "No, the puppets who went to the treasure vault were all dead." For a moment there was an eerie silence. The old wizard knows about the 3 higher-ups of the pavilion. Then who else could neutralize those puppets? He knew his client had bribed off the authorities. So there will be no one from the government interfering at this moment. Even bribing can't buy an entire night time for their operation. Soon the authorities will come. If they find out the abnormality of the souls, then their background would be exposed. Failure, his eyes flickered with a cold glint. Call off the mission, the old wizard said in a deep voice. After ending the call, he muttered to himself, who could be? His client requested to retrieve an important object from the vaults of the treasure pavilion. But unfortunately, he had underestimated the means of the treasure pavilion. Then he removed the thoughts from his mind and moved back to the experiment room. Inside the underground chamber, piled up corpses can be seen everywhere. Sean and Pete burned out completely. They have exhausted their mana reserve. Right now they are barely holding on. Seeing that my mouth curves into an arc compared to the situation an hour ago, their demeanor has completely changed. There were no more disdainful gazes. Shaking my head, I looked toward the entrance. I have killed most of the rogue wizards. But there was no sign of stopping them, which shows that the pavilion guards were lost. And we were the remaining ones defending the vault. Looking at one particular locked room, a quick glint flashes in my eyes. All the rogue wizards were targeting this one particular room, which shows that something valuable is stored there. What could be the item? Super relic? A thought comes to mind. But I shook my head in denial. I know how rare the super relic is. If such an item exists, then the whole Dragon City would be turned upside down. Even the old powerhouses won't hesitate to come here. Sighing, I gazed at the entrance. I don't know what happened outside, but the rogue wizard stopped coming. It gave me some relaxation time. Suddenly, I noticed the gazes of Sean Horton and Pete Brown. Both of them looked at me in a daze. I can see the hint of fear in their eyes, but I choose not to respond. All I want is to go back to the academy after mission completion. Then after taking a glance back at them, I return to my position. My mind is full of secret items hiding in the vault. But suddenly I realize too much curiosity is not good for me. The wizard behind the scene is extremely terrifying. Looking at the means of enslaving the living soul shocked me to the core. Such an enemy is beyond my current level. Then after pushing these thoughts behind me, a trace of clarity appeared in my eyes. On the other hand, 3 higher-ups from the pavilion spotted the retreating scene of rogue wizards on the ground. Such a scene caught them by surprise. What happened? White-bearded old man's eyes lit up with surprise. It feels unreal for a moment. Before he could think of further, the 3 level 5 rogue wizards who were obstructing them suddenly retreated in a blink of an eye. Such a scene left 3 of them stunned. Could someone tell me what has happened? The old man with rimmed glasses said in disbelief. The third old man sighed in relief. Meanwhile, the wizard behind the scenes called off the mission with a regretful face. He disappeared along with the puppets. Within a few minutes, no trace of them can be seen at the treasure pavilion. After a few minutes, the 3 higher-ups realized that the rogue wizards had left. Then they immediately called for medical support. The white-bearded old man looked toward the center of the city with a cold gaze. He knows someone will soon come here to inquire about their situation. Hateful, he muttered to himself. But in his heart, he can't wait to find out the person behind the scenes. At this time, an old man with rimmed glasses said, "We should check the chamber. I don't know what happened to the academy wizards." Then 3 of them immediately moved toward the underground chamber. Meanwhile, Sean and Pete got up from the ground, seeing that there was no more wave of rogue wizards. Both looked haggard and had suffered superficial injuries on their bodies. "What kind of wizard are you?" Pete mustered up his courage and asked out with a solemn expression on his face. The scenes of Vincent's instant kills come before his eyes. Not 1 or 2, Vincent has killed more than 10 rogue wizards. All of them were in level 4. Sean Horton also finds it incomprehensible. He comes from the Weapon Palace. He knows how hard it is for the wizard to fight across the ranks. In his opinion, only the power wizards are blessed with such ability. I raised my eyebrows in surprise. He took the initiative to speak to me. But I realized the earlier scenes must have given him too much surprise. Before I could think, I heard the sounds of footsteps. Swish! The 3 old men appeared in front of us all of a sudden. Seeing that Sean and Pete turned toward them, the white-bearded old man immediately gauged the details. But after seeing the piled-up corpses, a hint of surprise flashes in his eyes. Even the old man with rimmed glasses got a wide smile on his face. Before coming here, they had made up their mind to witness the worst. But after seeing the situation here, it completely overturned their view. The white-bearded old man ignored Vincent and looked toward Pete and Sean. The white-bearded old man misunderstood something. From Vincent's unscathed appearance, he thought Vincent didn't fight at all. Rather, he misunderstood, looking at torn clothes of Sean and Pete, that they had taken all the brunt of the rogue wizards. But the motive of the rogue wizard is unclear. So he asked, "Oh, what happened here?" Pete and Sean smiled wryly. They knew the treasure pavilion's superiors misunderstood something. Sean Horton took the initiative to explain everything. Meanwhile, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. I was not surprised by the situation. Who would believe that a level 3 wizard has killed several level 4 wizards? If I reveal my subtaboo, then they will understand. But I don't want to do that. Then I see the 3 old men turn toward me with shocked expressions on their faces. Seeing that, I asked, "Is the mission over?" The most worrying thing is the unknown enemy. I don't know if the enemy of the treasure pavilion will appear again. So I should leave as soon as possible. The white-bearded old man was stunned to hear the words. He wanted to thank the young wizard. But after hearing Vincent's questions, he remembered the details about the guard mission they had published earlier. After thinking about it, the white-bearded old man let out a deep sigh. Everything went beyond their belief. They had not expected the wave of the level 4 wizard and 3 level 5 wizards. The white-bearded old man knew it was a miracle for 3 wizards to survive. Seeing them, he realized 3 of them might be important figures. Otherwise, their strength can't be explained. Especially looking at Vincent, he is even more sure that the level 3 wizard is not an ordinary person. At this moment, he made up his mind to compensate 3 of them. Treasure Pavilion. We apologize to you guys on behalf of Treasure Pavilion's incompetence. To make up for your hard work, we will compensate you, the white-bearded old man said in a kind tone. My eyes gleamed with a twinkle. This gesture was unexpected, but I like it very much. I hope their compensation will be higher than the mission rewards. Pete Brown and Sean Horton showed surprised expressions on their faces. The uneasiness in their heart is completely swept by this gesture. The old man with rimmed glasses and old man with obese bodies stood silent without making any comments. They were supportive of this decision. Seeing the eased expression on 3 of the young wizards, the white-bearded old man sighed in relief in his heart. Now he feels the relationship can be redeemed. We can go to our office. Those rogue wizards have retreated all of a sudden. I believe there will be no other attack anytime soon. After saying that, he guided everyone to his office. Meanwhile, the remaining staff was treating the wounded. The wizards from the nearby street began to step in. They were learning about the overall situation. Before, no one was willing to come in because of fierce confrontation. The nearby shop owners were in a state of panic. Now the dust has settled. Everyone wanted to inquire about the details immediately. On the other hand, the white-bearded old man came to his office. Seeing that, we followed him to his room. After entering inside, my eyes scanned the surroundings. Seeing the small paintings and design patterns on the wall, I immediately got the aesthetic feelings. The bearded old man sat on his seat and opened the drawer. In front of everyone's gazes, he picked up the metal box from the drawer. Then my attention shifted back to the metal box. I see Sean and Pete also looking at the metal box with burning eyes. Suddenly, I feel sour in my heart. Because I contributed the most to the killings. Before I could think further, I see him opening the metal box. Then I see a fist-sized mana stone in it. The next moment, I sense the wave of pure mana coming from the mana stone. My heart set off storms. This mana stone is a higher grade one. What big handwriting. I look toward the white-bearded old man in disbelief. I can see that he doesn't want any of us to harbor hatred against the Treasure Pavilion. I appreciated his cautious approach in my heart. But again, I observed Sean and Pete's expressions. These guys are getting it for nothing. And I don't want to speak against them without knowing their backgrounds. As I expected, the white-bearded old man gave us the top-grade mana stone each. I directly placed it inside my storage bracelet. I already know how to make good use of it. When I get the next breakthrough opportunity, I will use this top-grade mana stone. At least this trip did not end in vain. Once again, I thank you guys for your effort. And I will send the mission completion report back to your academy. Now you guys can leave without worry, the white-bearded old man said. Finally, I muttered in my heart. This was the sentence I have waited to hear. Now I can go back to the academy and make a plan for the 3rd trial. Pete Brown nodded at me before leaving the room. Same with Sean Horton. Sean Horton seems to be a man of small words. But he expressed his gratitude before leaving. When I decided to leave as well, I heard words from behind. Young Mage Vincent, wait up. The white-bearded old man said it in a hurried voice. Hearing that, I paused my movements and turned toward him. I raised my eyebrows in confusion. Before I could ask, the white-bearded old man said, Young Mage Vincent, I know among the 3 you have contributed the most. So I would like to compensate you with additional rewards. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. This is what they call pie falling from the sky. Just as I'm brooding over the unfairness, the old man brought me the surprise. The white-bearded old man asked, Oh, what do you want? Hearing that, my mind was occupied with a lot of thoughts in an instant. Special relic, I blurted out what was in my heart. Gasp! The obese old man exclaimed in surprise. No way. Are you serious? The obese old man asked. Even the old man with rimmed glasses finds it outrageous. He asked, Do you know how rare the special relic is? Even in this entire capital city, the special relics can be counted in numbers, he added further. My heart skips a beat. I asked for a special relic, not a super relic. Then I suddenly realized something. Not many wizards know about the existence of the super relic. Some even considered it a myth. After gaining some clarity, I realized it was a mistake. Meanwhile, the white-bearded old man pondered deeply. He recalled some valuable magic collections in his mind. He too felt that the young mage's words were too much. But soon he remembered an important item in his collections. Thinking about it, he felt it was suitable to give it back to young Mage Vincent. Wait for me here. After saying that, he got up from the seat and left the room. Seeing that I stopped asking, I don't know whether he is going to bring something or not. The old man with rimmed glasses and the old man with an obese body remained silent. Several minutes later, the white-bearded old man came back again. After sitting on the seat, he placed the red bottle on the table. What is this? My gaze fell on the bottle. A red color liquid is stored inside it. Meanwhile, the old man with rimmed glasses widened his eyes in disbelief. He immediately recognized the bottle. This red color liquid is nothing less than that of super relics or other magic treasures. Because the red color liquid comes under the potion category. Even the old man with an obese body was startled. My eyes quickly caught their expression. Before I could ask, the white-bearded old man said, "This unknown potion was found at one of the old ruins. This red liquid can slightly improve the mana affinity of a wizard. I believe this potion item is not less than that of any relics," he added further. Affinity, and my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. The affinity of a wizard is related to his talent. Higher talent than higher affinity. But what's with this red potion? For a moment, I became hesitant. If I take this unknown potion, there is no guarantee that it will work. Considering the potion is a product of an old era, the potion might have become a waste. A trace of apprehension appeared in my eyes. This old fox, I furrowed my eyebrows. No wonder he is giving me this thing just like that. It may or may not work. Keeping the bitterness in my heart, I accepted the red potion. They won't give any valuable relics. Then after bidding goodbye to them, I left the room right away. Right after, the three old men looked at each other and laughed. Meanwhile, I see the destruction clearly after walking out. The whole glass building had taken the brunt. The glass walls were broken completely. Then I shifted my attention back to the staff. I see many healers treating the wounded, and the other staff were taking account of the piled-up corpses. Sigh, I let out a deep sigh before walking out of the broken gate. Seeing the flying cab in the street, I immediately got inside. Then I told the cab driver about my destination. Swish! The air cab rose from the ground and moved toward the Yellow River Academy. Shortly after, another figure walked out from the hideout. He is none other than Clifton Cox. Looking at the disappearing sight of a flying cab, his expression turned ugly. But when his gaze turned toward the destroyed pavilion building, a hint of fear flashes in his eyes. The next moment, he instructed his lackey to group together. Clifton made up his mind to return to the academy. He doesn't want to waste any more time. The battle here caught him off guard. Clifton wanted to flee earlier, but because of the rogue wizard's appearance, he didn't want to be caught in the middle. At that time, he instructed his lackeys to hide. Then he hid as well. Seeing the aftermath, he feared that rogue wizards might appear again, so immediately moved away from the vicinity of Treasure Pavilion. On the other hand, the white-bearded old man is discussing with two other old men in regards to how to deal with the aftermath, because there is no sign of the appearance of authority yet. But just before he could relax, he felt fierce mana coming toward the pavilion. After 2 hours, the flying cab entered the academy space. Then the driver slowly drove it toward the vehicle's area. People are still coming in and going outside at this time. When the flying cab landed on the ground, I stepped outside and paid the amount to the cab driver. Right after, I immediately left the area and walked toward the dorm. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. It will be an hour before the sun rises. I need to get some sleep before waking up and doing other things. Walking, I found not many wizards on the way. After quickly walking past, I reached the dorm. As usual, after verifying my identity, I walked into the dorm. Creak! After a few minutes, I entered the room. Seeing the familiar scene again, a hint of relief flashes in my eyes. The Treasure Pavilion's mission ended well. Now I can take some rest. Then I lay directly on my bed. Morning, 11 a.m. Beep! A notification sound woke me up from sleep. After getting out of bed, I went to take a long shower. After getting freshened up, I changed into a formal cloth and wore a red mage robe on top of it. Looking at my face in the mirror, a sharp glint flashed in my eyes. My growth is visible to my eyes. My face looked more refined. There was no more childlike innocence. Then I shifted my attention back to the important things. I don't know what happened to the Treasure Pavilion after I left. Thinking about the Treasure Pavilion, an unknown liquid comes to mind. Should I use it before meditation? I muttered to myself. Then I shook my head in denial, considering it won't be feasible. I can raise my power attributes before using the unknown potion. A trace of apprehension appeared in my eyes. There is no guarantee that it will work. Then I placed the mat on the ground and sat cross-legged on it. And I slowly started to run the gravity arc mental method. Slowly, I began to attract the gray color mana particles from the surroundings. When the particles entered my body, I started to guide the energy according to the gravity arc method. After circulation, the purified gray color mana settled down in my mana core. Feeling that, I continued to repeat the process. Time passed in a blink of an eye. 3 hours later, I opened my eyes and immediately used the system to check the status. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 10%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 266. Speed, 268. Stamina, 266. Vitality, 268. Intelligence, LVL.341. Soul power, LVL.340. Mental power, LVL.340. Constitution LVL.3, 40. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 11%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Seeing the increase in attributes, my mouth curved into an arc. If this goes on, I will soon touch the level 4 barrier. Thinking about the speed, I wonder what's going on with Lara White. Her talent is higher than mine. Her attribute might have reached the mid-level similar to mine. Her talent is higher than mine. So it's natural for her to lead one step ahead of me. Then removing these thoughts, I scan my attributes. A hint of relief appeared in my eyes. My progression is going steadily. It's very satisfying to see the statistics. Then I brought out the red potion from the storage bracelet. Seeing the unknown liquid, a doubt appeared in my eyes. Soon it's replaced by clarity. I opened the cork and drank the entire potion in one go. I feel hot lava passing through my throat. I let out a small scream in agonizing pain. I gritted my teeth to control myself. When the red-hot energy entered my internal organs, the pain is multiplied. Multiple veins popped up on my forehead. I'm slowly feeling drained out. Unknowingly, I passed out on the spot. Time passed. When I woke up, I felt like ages, but soon I realized not even a day had passed. What time is it? I mumbled under my breath. 3 p.m. Seeing the timing, I sighed in relief. Then wiping out the sweat, I quickly adjusted my posture. Then I took a deep breath before checking out my body. Feeling the beaming energy inside. I feel something has changed in my body. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 50%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 266. Speed, 268. Stamina, 266. Vitality, 268. Intelligence, LVL.341. Soul power, LVL.340. Mental power, LVL.340. Constitution LVL.3, 40. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 11%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, magic cloak, the Gregor Mansion, magic artifact, herbs, potions, and spell books, etc. The status panel appears in front of my eyes. My gaze immediately fell on the mana core. A shock and disbelief appeared on my face. My core reached 50% progression. This came as a surprise to me. The unknown red potion has worked. This thing can raise the core progression, I mumbled under my breath looking toward the empty bottle. It took me a few minutes to calm down my nerves. Then a bright smile appeared on my face. Fortunately, there were no side effects. This shows the power of the ancient potion. Then I scanned the other attributes. Except for the mana core, there were no other changes. Next, I got up from the ground and decided to check the sub-taboo hall. But before going there, I should eat something. After walking out of the dorm, I head straight toward the dining hall. As usual, on the way, I came across many wizards. Some glanced at me before going on their way, while others began to gossip among themselves. Ignoring their eyes, I walked into the dining hall. Not many people are eating at this time. When I reached the counter, I ordered some small manna steaks. After getting the food plate, I found a nearby seat to sit. Meanwhile, Eugene Beard from the Beast Hall and Roberto Noel from the Transformation Hall entered the dining hall together. "See, he is here." Eugene pointed his finger at Vincent Carey, who was eating alone in a corner. Roberto's eyes gleamed with a twinkle. "How did he get to escape from there?" Roberto asked out in surprise. Before coming here, someone told them about Vincent Carey. Earlier, both thought it would be a miracle for Vincent to survive. But right now, seeing him unscathed, both were in disbelief. Eugene thought of something. Vincent Carey is a new level 3 wizard. He must have been protected by level 4 wizards from the other 2 academies, Eugene said in a low tone. Roberto Noel also thinks in the same way. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for Vincent to survive those rogue wizards. "What to do now?" Roberto Noel asked. "Shall we test him?" Eugene said. "If they do anything here, it would be too direct. And their motives will be exposed." "Not here, wait for him to leave," Roberto Noel said in a low tone. Right after both of them left the dining hall. But their lackeys were keeping an eye on Vincent Carey. On the other hand, the news also reaches Bloodline Hall. "He is out," Clifton Cox uttered in surprise. He knew Vincent returned last night. But what surprised him was that it took several hours for him to leave the dorm room. Earlier, he went to the mission hall to check. But after seeing no sign of Vincent, he then went to the sub-taboo hall before coming here. Suddenly, one of his men spoke to him about the guys from the Beast Hall and the Transformation Hall. Those two again. Clifton's eyes burst out with a cold glint. After having the food, I left the dining hall and strolled toward the sub-taboo hall. Suddenly, I feel 2 prying gazes on me. "Who is it?" I said in my heart, while I gaze around my surroundings. Then after confirming no trouble, I walked toward the hall. After a few minutes, I arrived in front of the hall. As usual, I verified my identity before walking into the room. Meanwhile, Eugene Beard and Roberto Noel appeared suddenly in front of the hall. Seeing the closed hall, their expressions turned ugly. "See, I told you. He doesn't go anywhere apart from the library and the sub-taboo hall," Eugene Beard said in a cold tone. Roberto Noel frowned. He feels Vincent Carey is a tortoise. He didn't step outside his safe zone. Suddenly, Roberto Noel recalled something. "I heard Clifton Cox is looking for an official challenge against Vincent Carey. But he is just waiting for the core member's signal," he said. "If someone was already taking initiative, they shouldn't waste their breath." Eugene Beard shook his head. "Our movements were already exposed. If we don't do anything, we will face the same ridicule as the Mechanical Hall," he feared in his heart. Roberto Noel's face darkened remembering Mechanical Hall's behavior right after Vincent's Battle Tower performance. "What to do? We can't wait here for him to show up," Eugene Beard said in a dissatisfied tone. Roberto Noel replied, "Let's go, we can't act against him inside the academy." Right after, 2 of them left the hall. Meanwhile, I sat on the sofa boringly. There was no reply from Senior Carolina. She might be on her mission. Then I began to browse some news online. Soon the news about Dragon City popped up on the front page. I see an image showing the death and destruction of the Treasure Pavilion. The damaged glass building and aftermath of those magical spell attacks can be seen in the image. Then I started to read further news. After a few minutes, a quick glint flashes in my eyes. Right after I left, the people from the government had visited that place. "Why so slow response?" I said in my heart. But I know it is not that simple. Some shady thing was happening. How come the government is not aware of such intrusion? But I feel glad that I didn't stick into that whirlpool. Next time choosing a mission, I should be more careful. Then I logged into the Academy site to see the updates. Soon in my inbox, I see several unread messages. Opening it, the first thing that caught my attention was the message from Mentor Lion. I quickly opened it to read the message. Special Trial, Number 3. The Magic Forest. A task will be given to candidates to collect resources inside the Magic Forest. After the trial, the points will be calculated based on the mission completion. Time: day after tomorrow, 10 a.m. My eyes gleamed with a twinkle. This is what Senior Carolina exactly said. The Magic Forest was nothing but a resource point of our academy. Normally, wizards go inside to collect the resources. And the content of the special trial is also the same. But on the surface, it looks easy, but I know there must be some difficulty behind it. Now that I know the trial day, all I can do now is to prepare. After gaining some clarity, I decided to go to the library to spend some time there by reading books. I want to know about the Magic Forest. It would be better if there was a book about the forest in the library. On the other hand, Clifton Cox received a green signal from his seniors. A few days ago, he shared his opinion with seniors, the core members of Bloodline Hall. But none of them gave a direct reply. Now that he receives a green signal from the core members, which means he can issue a challenge to Vincent without any worry. But this thing must have been done through an official process. He can't independently post a challenge on an academy site like the brain-dead Mechanical Hall Wizards. Otherwise, people won't take him seriously. Thinking about those guys from the Beast Hall and Transformation Hall yet to do something, he decided to start the process quicker. The management of the Bloodline Hall should issue a challenge against the Sub-Taboo Hall. Time passed. Soon Bloodline Hall issued an official challenge post, which sent a shockwave across the 12 halls. The news came out of the blue. Nobody would have expected a sudden challenge post from Bloodline Hall. The news started to spread like wildfire. Within minutes, the Academy site is filled with a lot of posts. There is no official date for the challenge, because the Sub-Taboo Hall has yet to accept the challenge post. Only after that, the official date will be announced. Meanwhile, I'm busy going through the books related to the Magic Forest. But the few wizards who were studying in the library were keeping an eye on me. I thought these people might be lackeys of certain wizards. But soon I realized something was wrong because my communication watch was being bombarded with a lot of notifications. Seeing that, I carefully placed the old book on the table before reading the notification. But the next second, my eyes flickered with a cold glint. Official challenge? I said in my heart. Then I further read the message to understand it fully. So it's not an independent duel challenge from Clifton Cox, but rather the Bloodline Hall itself issued a challenge against the Sub-Taboo Hall. A gloomy glint flashes in my eyes. Before coming here, I thought everything was going smoothly. To think the Bloodline Hall is staring at me all this time, I couldn't help but feel uncomfortable. I don't know what are the consequences ahead if I lose the challenge. I know it's impossible to lose, but I still feel a lot of things riding on this challenge. One hall is issuing a challenge against another. There will be some stakes. After gaining some clarity, I sighed inwardly. If I stay here any longer, the library will be swarmed with wizards. Then after placing the books back on the rack, I quickly left the library and walked toward the dorm. Several minutes later, I came back to my room. I massaged both sides of my time before laying on the bed comfortably. Sigh. It would be better if Sister Carolina is here. She might know more about this official challenge. Clifton Cox, I mumbled under my breath. I don't know if this person is foolish or not. I rank first position in the Battle Tower ranking, which talks about my strength indirectly. But this Bloodline wizard still dared to confront me. Then suddenly I realized something. Unlike other wizards, the Bloodline wizards got added advantage. Their Bloodline power provides them with a boost in attributes, so their overall power will skyrocket. No wonder, I muttered to myself. Now I understand where this guy's confidence comes from. But it's a pity he doesn't know about my overpowered gravity magic. If that guy learns about the Treasure Pavilion's incident fully, where I had killed most of the level 4 wizards, I think he will change his opinion very quickly. Then pushing these thoughts behind my mind, I decided to continue to read the books. The following day, I woke up early. After getting freshened up, I started my meditation. As I started to run the gravity mental method, the gray color mana particles came close to me. When the energies entered my body, I started to guide them according to the mental method. After circulation, the purified mana settled down in my dantian. Time passed in a blink of an eye. I opened my eyes 3 hours later. Suddenly, I feel a surge of energy in my mana core. Like I have crossed some threshold. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding. The host's command is recognized. Ding. Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 53%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength, 269. Speed, 271. Stamina, 269. Vitality, 271. Intelligence, LVL.344. Soul power, LVL.343. Mental power, LVL.343. Constitution LVL.3, 43. Sacred gravity physique, LVL.2, 14%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field, LVL.3. 2. Gravity push, LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull, LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast, LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force, LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity, LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eye. My eye scanned the details immediately. The core progression rate immediately attracted my attention. The progression beyond 50% is good news. Then after going through the other details, I closed the status panel. A few minutes later, I came to the sub-taboo hall. After doing the verification, I walked into the hall. The next moment, I see my senior sister working behind her desk. Senior, when did you come back? I asked with a smile on my face. I was hoping to meet her to clear my doubts about the official challenge. Now that I have seen her, a hint of relief flashes in my eyes. Carolina Slate opened her big beautiful eyes and looked at Vincent. Ahem, I came back last night, Carolina added further. But look at you, the Bloodline Hall made an official challenge request. What do you think of this? Hearing that, a wry smile appeared on my face. As you had said, someone had found a good way to tackle me, I replied in a calm tone. Carolina's eyes flickered with a gloomy glint. She knows more about the official challenge post than Vincent. For a moment, she stopped doing her work. She said, Senior Gilbert spoke to me this morning. A quick glint flashes in my eyes. I asked, is he back? Carolina shook her head and answered, he is still on his mission. But he knows about the official challenge post. He asked me to warn you. After saying that, she paused her gaze on Vincent. Then she continued to add further in a solemn tone, if you accept their duel request, then you can't lose. Hearing that, my expression turned a bit solemn. I knew behind the challenge post there is some catch. Then I perked up my ears to listen further. Seeing that Vincent is listening attentively, Carolina nodded her head and said, if you lose the duel, then the sub-taboo will lose certain resources to the Bloodline Hall. And it is the same case with the Bloodline Hall, if they lose then we will gain certain resources from them. So the final decision rests on you. If you are confident, then we can ask our management to accept the duel post, Carolina added. A look of understanding dawned upon me. Again, everything comes down to resources. But I have to say the people from the Bloodline Hall are very calculative. They got too much confidence in their bloodline power. So much so that they have already decided on the winner. My eyes flickered with a cold glint. Carolina saw a change in Vincent's mood. She didn't interrupt. She also knows about the horror of the bloodline power. That's why she was confused. She doesn't know whether Vincent can get past this one. After a few minutes of silence, I opened my mouth. Sister Carolina, I have decided. I'm ready to accept the challenge. Carolina observed Vincent's reaction before asking, are you sure? You know they have an additional bloodline boost, which can increase their attributes further. I nodded my head in response. Seeing the firm look in Vincent's eyes, Carolina didn't ask further. She has trust in Vincent. She believes Vincent must have thought it through. Then she said, all right, come here. You need to sign the acceptance post. A few minutes later, the acceptance form was officially sent to our superiors. It will be a matter of time before everyone learns about this explosion. Soon, both halls will decide on a suitable date for the match. You can take your time to prepare until then, Carolina said casually. But soon she realized Vincent had an important day tomorrow. The special trial is going to happen in the magic forest. She asked, I almost forgot about your trial tomorrow. How is your preparation going? Her words made me ease my eyebrows. She is right. I should think about the trials tomorrow. Then a bright smile appeared on my face. I did read some books about the magic forest. Besides, the trial was to collect resources from the magic forest. So I don't think the trial will be life-threatening, I said to her. Carolina held up her chin in contemplation. She had already guessed the trail would be like this. No one uses the magic forest other than to collect resources. Then she said to Vincent, well, the resource collection is not easy. It's also a test for your knowledge. But looking at the trial, I think you can easily get first place again. I simply smiled in response. Then I remembered something. Sister, when can I meet other seniors? Normally, I should have met with other seniors by this time. Don't know what happened? Carolina let out a chuckle before saying, look at you really can't wait to see other sub-taboo wizards. Then she added, seniors are back. But they are occupied with something else. You will see them soon in our hall. Then we talked about a few other things before I left the hall. Walking out of the hall, I thought that now the doubt has been made clear. I can spend the rest of the time reading. I have yet to complete the basic wizard books. Then I have to read the intermediate wizard book also. I can't delay it anymore. After gaining some clarity, I walked toward the dorm. Time passed. Vincent's acceptance of the challenge post was quickly approved by the higher-ups. Soon the news about this broke out, which immediately bombed the academy's online site. Wizards from other halls were surprised by Vincent's move. Even for them, it's not easy to mess with crazy bloodline wizards. So Vincent's move is considered unwise. The whole bloodline hall burst out with laughter. It doesn't matter whether the outer house wizards or the inner house wizards. Everyone was on the same page on this matter. They don't think the new wizard can stand against the bloodline wizard. Even if the wizard is a sub-taboo user, he will be helpless when facing bloodline boost power. Even some of the core members sneered after hearing this hasty move. Taboo Hall. Meanwhile, Lara White, who is going through details about the magic forest, was stumped after hearing the news. Is he stupid or what? A look of doubt flashes in her eyes. She also came to know about Bloodline Hall's challenge post recently. But she thought Vincent's recent achievement made other halls vary from him. So she wasn't surprised by the challenge post at all. Her teacher Kate Cohen's already spoke to her about this. She suddenly thought about herself. She doesn't know whether her snowstorm magic can withstand the bloodline boost. Unknowingly, she started to take interest in this challenge duel. Even before the bloodline hall, she had thought about fighting Vincent. But she didn't get a good opportunity or reason to challenge Vincent. On top of this, the special trial also distracted her attention. Her eyes gleamed with a twinkle. Anyway, I should focus on defeating him in the special trial itself, she said in her heart. Similarly, the other special class students were dumbfounded by the news. Everyone else is preparing hard for the special trial tomorrow. But this guy is planning something else. Some even thought Vincent didn't even put the special trial in his eyes. Especially the level 4 wizards, who were already dissatisfied with Vincent's limelight. This news made them even more dissatisfied. Everyone had a hint of jealousy in their heart. They can't wait to see the defeated face of Vincent in the end. Time passed in a blink of an eye. The following day, I woke up pretty early. I don't want to miss out on meditation. Considering there is going to be a special trial today, I started to run the gravity arc method. Ignoring the time, I got fully immersed in meditation. When the gray color mana particles entered my body, I guided them according to the mental method. After the circulation, the purified mana settled down in my mana core. I repeated the process. 3 hours later, I opened my eyes and decided to check the status. System, show my status panel, I said to the system. Ding! The host's command is recognized. Ding! Level up system, 1.1 is ready. Status panel. Host's name, Vincent Carey. Magic power, gravity. Mage level, level 3 limiter. Mental method, gravity arc, running. Grade, earth. Running mode, automatic. Rate of absorption, 82%. Gravity core status, LVL.3, 56%. Progressing. Sacred core, gravity core. Mana power, 700. Mana capacity, 700. Talent, top bottom, upgradable. Color pale orange. Strength 272. Speed 274. Stamina 272. Vitality 274. Intelligence LVL.347. Soul power LVL.346. Mental power LVL.346. Constitution LVL.346. Sacred gravity physique LVL.2 17%. Spell models 6. 1. Gravity field LVL.3. 2. Gravity push LVL.3. 3. Gravity pull LVL.3. 4. Gravity blast LVL.3. 5. Repulsive force LVL.3. 6. Zero gravity LVL.3. Spell slots available 3. Title, Lord of the Gregor Mansion. Storage space items, Magic Cloak, the Gregor Mansion, Magic Artifact, Herbs, Potions, and spell books, etc. A wide status panel appeared in front of my eyes. Then my eyes immediately scanned the details. After seeing that every attribute rose by 3 points, a small smile appeared on my face. Now I'm ready to face the trial, I mumbled under my breath. After looking into the attributes, I closed the status panel and got up from the ground. Then after getting ready, I walked out of the room. Then leaving the dorm building, I came across a bunch of known faces. The same bloodline wizards who had blocked my path the other day. My eyes flickered with a cold glint. It's been only a day since the announcement. But these guys have already started to stare at me. Ignoring them, I headed toward the academy building. Meanwhile, the 5 bloodline wizards were none other than but lackeys of Clifton Cox. After that breaking news, he sent his men to monitor Vincent's movement. Right now, seeing the disappearing back of Vincent, one of the bloodline wizards asked, Hey, do you guys think he has noticed us? Nah, he doesn't seem to recognize us, the second person replied. Harumph, what arrogance. Our bloodline wizards are famous in the entire academy. This guy is deliberately putting on the air, or another bloodline wizard said with a snort. The group talked among themselves. Right after they decided to follow Vincent. Meanwhile, I walked into the academy hall. The next moment, I feel many peeing gazes on me. The gases are filled with hatred and envy. Seeing that, I paused my movement for a moment. I turned my head left and right to look around. Wizards are standing here and there, chatting with their friends. But after noticing my presence, they stopped talking. This sudden spotlight makes me a little uncomfortable. Then I started walking toward the magic booth. Right after leaving, people's discussion became even louder. The magic phone booth will take me directly to the special class. After stepping inside, I selected the destination. Creak! The next moment, the booth starts to vibrate. Then it began to move toward the destination. A few seconds later, the booth came to halt. Seeing that, I stepped outside after opening the door. The scene before me caught my attention immediately. I see special class students have already started to come in. I thought I'm the one who came here without having breakfast. But it looks like the people are more eager than me. Then I took a step forward and headed directly towards the massive gate. When I got closer, my appearance immediately drew the attention of others. As usual, the wizards changed their topic of discussion after seeing me. Without showing many expressions on my face, I stood patiently. After a few minutes, a beautiful silhouette appeared. Seeing her, the wizards exclaimed in surprise again. Hearing the commotion, I opened my eyes. When I glanced around, I spotted Laura White in the middle of the group. Seeing her this time, I felt she has improved again. Level 4, I muttered to myself. But I have a vague feeling that she is inching faster toward level 5. Then I took back my gaze and returned to my usual standing position. Meanwhile, Laura White also spotted Vincent standing in front. A bright smile appeared on her face. Now the whole academy and the wizard halls were looking forward to 2 things. The first one is a special class 3rd trial. And the second one is Vincent's duel against the bloodline wizard Clifton Cox. But seeing the calm demeanor of Vincent, she is surprised once again. Let's see whether he is genuinely calm or putting up an act, she said in her heart. Then she found a spot to stand. One by one the remaining wizards start to come in. This time 20 or so inner house wizards are eligible to participate. No outer house wizards could be seen this time. 10 minutes later, Wizard Lion appeared before everyone. Right after his appearance, the atmosphere quieted down all of a sudden. His eyes immediately scanned 20 or so inner house wizards present here. After a few seconds, he retracted his gaze and spoke. All right, I believe the content of the 3rd trial was already sent to you. Anyway, I will tell you once again. The 3D trial is going to take place in the magic forest of our academy shortly. Your job is to collect listed resources as much as possible before the end of the trail. The final results were calculated based on how many resources you have collected in the end. Wizard Lion explained in one full breath. The third trial is not so hard compared to the previous 2 trials which tested the wizard's combat capability. But this time the trail is different. Wizards need to have basic knowledge about plants and other magic herbs before collecting the resources. Otherwise, it is impossible to locate the resource area inside the magic forest. Also, the difficult environment inside the magic forest makes it hard to look for resources. Various thoughts appear in Lion's mind before it disappears. Then he looked at the students before him. Lion knows it is the right time to enter the magic forest. All right, let's enter the facility. I'll transport you guys to the magic forest, Mentor Lion instructed. Hearing that, everyone nodded their head. Meanwhile, a hint of expectation rose in my heart. Then we quickly followed him behind to enter this magnificent infrastructure. Last time, we entered the facility to use a simulation. This time it is going to be the transportation. Right after everyone gathered inside one particular room. In the middle of the room, there is a circular platform. Looking at the several concentric designs on the platform, I guess this spot might be used for teleportation. All right, everyone, stand in line according to your rank. The list will be sent to you right after you step inside the forest, Mentor Lion said. Hearing that, everyone looked toward Lara. Seeing that, I wasn't surprised. I know last time Lara performed well. In front of everyone's gazes, Lara stepped forward. Then I walked forward to stand behind her. Then one by one people stood as per the ranks. After a few minutes, Lion didn't say much. He directly activated the teleportation. When the concentric lines lit up with blue light. You can go now, a lion said. Right after, Lara stepped in and disappeared from the spot. Seeing that, I too stepped forward. Swish! I disappeared from the spot and appeared inside the magic forest. The next second, I felt a wave of cold energy assaulting me from all sides. When I raised my head to look at the surroundings, the scene in front of me amazed me. Dark clouds covered the entire sky, hereby hindering the daylight, and it cast shadows over the forest. This atmosphere also gives me a gloomy vibe. For a moment, I didn't move from the spot. Because I noticed one more thing on my wrist. It's a blue tattoo. Seeing that, a look of understanding dawned upon me. It must be related to teleportation. Maybe after the trial, I will be directly teleported back to the room. Then my gaze fell on the communication watch. Before coming here, Mentor said that there will be some list. I quickly accessed my communication watch. Seeing that it is completely working fine. A hint of relief flashes in my eyes. The communication was not cut off completely, which means we can be teleported back whenever there is danger. Then I saw the list. When I opened it to read it, many names of magical herbs came into view. 1. Dark water lily. 2. Withered wood branch. 3. Black dotted vine plants. 4. White lotus. 5. Four-leaf clover. When I started to read the name, a look of disbelief appeared on my face. Because I recognized a few plants easily. Some of them grew up in harsh environments and it is not easy to find them. The white lotus in particular. The name white lotus sounds harmless. But it grows inside a poisonous swamp. It will not be an easy task to get that plant. Why do I feel this trial is not a cakewalk? Especially for me. Then I began to go through the entire list. After a few minutes, my eyes gleamed with a twinkle. There are a total of 30 different types of plants on the list. I'm able to recognize most of them. Thanks to my reading of basic wizard books yesterday. Now I'm able to recognize the plants. Otherwise, it would have been difficult to find them. Then after gaining some clarity, I decided to investigate my surroundings. Who knows, there might be magic plants growing here. Meanwhile, other inner house wizards appeared in different parts of the magic forest. Some even found the magic plants quickly, while others began to investigate the surroundings. Lara White appeared close to the resource area. She is fortunate enough to take some lead in this trial. At the same time, the wizard Lion is watching everyone's movements. Inside the monitor room, he quickly recognized Lara White's luck. The teleportation was random, and she appeared close to the resource area. Lion thought this would give a good lead. He doesn't know whether Vincent would be able to collect the resources in time.